We're going. I like the aggressive. Dude, let me drop the green car. You can go to all those guys up there. They can suck in.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing? You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
It's so nice to see you at the line.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Jump. Come in the line.
Hello, come back on him.
That was incredible. Dude, nobody better. Nobody. Hell yeah, guys.
Hello there. Welcome to NWP on DannyBTalks. I'm Danny B, joined alongside my co-host, as always, Jarrett, switching us around every which way he can. We got Jarrett as the producer of the show and also one of the co-hosts. And, of course, we got Eric Estep, the infamous Eric Estep. How you guys doing tonight?
Infamous. I'm going to add that to my business cards that I don't have. But now it's an excuse for me to get some printed. I can add infamous into the title there. Jarrett really is the jack of all trades of this show. It's been a couple months. We again need to give him his round of applause. He primarily monitors our week-to-week itinerary. He produces the show, to Danny's point, prepares most of the graphics.
He makes sure we all have a dinner. He takes care of us. He tucks us in at night.
I tuck them into bed at night too. Like it's a full all-encompassing job. It's amazing. Something that's also amazing, guys. It's actually getting cooler in here. So
yeah, let's acknowledge that. Where is Jarrett right now?
Should I just like
go full screen?
Go full screen.
Yeah, okay. I gotta remember which one is which, so I'll just
not me.
There we go.
There we go. There's the Chevelle. Yeah,
got the balloon, the Chevelle. You can see the motorcycle. It's hard to do this.
The motorcycle used to be parked out front. Now we're like kind of in the shot. Now it's.
I just pulled my cord there.
Jarrett has fled the state of Tennessee, and he is back in his old family gathering area in Illinois.
Hey, if I'm fleeing, I'm not going to Illinois. I came here on my own choice, which is probably not as good a thing to say. I'm gonna switch around here and then get back to the here. Everyone gets their time in the sun. If it'll let me do it. I don't know.
Here I am with my K-Love hat.
I love the K-Love hat.
Can the chat recognize whose hat this is? That's what I want to know. Have they already forgotten about this?
Well, they're trying to recognize it real quick before we jump in. So I told you guys, like when I got here today, inside the garage, because the windows were open and everything, but closed, but open, so the light's still getting in.
Okay, they got it. It is a McDowell hat.
Good job.
It was 114, I think, when I got here. I think it was 114. When we jumped in the call, it was 104. My grandpa put on a bunch of fans in here, and it is already down to 96, and we are plummeting in temperature. So I'm feeling
how hard
you might get to 95.
I don't even want to know how
hard it is.
Laptop fan is running, Jared.
McDowell, K-Love supremacy.
Well, so another kind of under the hood thing is because this laptop is like 6 years old, so like I really need to get it replaced. And the thing is that I think it's the Razer is what I have. They produce a ton of heat, and it got to the point that it actually melted off part of the siding, and so the side is actually open about that much. If you compare it like to my face, it's like open that much where the bottom split off, so it's actually got extra ventilation now.
That's good, I guess. I guess that works out.
Glass half full, right?
Wow.
Well, speaking of glass half full, I guess I can be a glass half full Alex Bowman fan after this weekend, because I was very disappointed in Chase Elliott for not just tucking in behind him when they had a good shot of, okay, there's a clear opening for the 48. Draft with your teammate. No, why are you pushing him out of the way? What? Now we have to help you. But at least Elliott winning keeps Bowman above the cutoff line for now.
That's a good point, because there were a lot of drivers left after the big one that could have completely shocked the system. Ty Gibbs spent time up front. Keselowski was maybe the guy to beat, but lost his drafting help there towards the end. So the Hendrick guys teaming up 2 against 1 to beat Bad Brad. Not best case scenario for Bowman, but it was the best case besides Bowman himself winning that race. at the end there. Alex Bowman, true team player. I mean, sometimes if you're not able to win the race, you gotta be a team player in this instance when you're in his position.
Okay, there was a great meme on Twitter this week though. After the way he got just shoved out of the way, the 300 teammates all collectively with a little speech bubble above them that says "F you, Bowman, we hate you so much." And then Bowman's over there like, "I love you guys. I'll do anything to help you."
Yeah, I saw the one where it's like, "Hey guys, when do I gotta win?" And their people are all in the huddle, and then the one dude turns around at the big thumb and just thumbs up. Eventually, back into the huddle, and it shows like Chase Elliott winning.
Probably the worst meme I saw though was a picture of the random chair in the corner of a hotel room and said, "This is the Alex Bowman chair."
Jeez.
Oh man, yeah,
Brutal.
Bowman
Bowman wound up third though, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Brad end up second? That just adds insult to injury. It wasn't even
Yeah.
a Hendrick 1-2. Ugh.
just salt in the third place wound. But I guess the secondary headline behind Bowman getting left out to dry, Danny, was that Chase Elliott did get the win this week.
Yes, and don't let it get lost on the fact that just because Chase Elliott won, he gets his first win of the year. What a cool moment winning in that paint scheme designed by what was the child's name again? I'm blanking. Do you guys remember?
I'm blanking on his name as well, but I will pull it up. But it was cool that he was there in person to like celebrate and see it.
It's a really cool thing that Chase has been doing for years now, and for them to finally get that paint scheme in the victory lane. Yeah. Oh, I think people are saying it might be a girl. Actually, I think
shows how well TNT covered it beforehand. But I mean, I say it was cool, the pop too that you saw from that win. I knew like as soon as I'd say about 25-30 to go, I put in my chat before we went live, I was like, y'all, this is Chase Elliott's race to lose. Like he's racing, it's a super speedway. And I don't think this is indicative of like, oh my God, he's gonna turn around and dominate Chicago this week because he won Atlanta. But the aggression that he showed.
Raylan or Braylon, that's what they're saying in the chat.
Raylan Mills, I believe.
But the aggression that Chase showed, the moves he made, some of the just I don't give an F energy that he had that he normally doesn't, like that felt like there goes the mic again. New play, old place, new place, same problems. But that did not feel like a Chase Elliott that we've seen the last couple of years, really since his injury. That looked like the Chase Elliott that I remember watching in 2022, 2021, and on back where, Chase has an edge to him. Like a lot of people will, just talk about him having a Raisin Brand personality in their opinion. And they're just like, oh, he's boring. He's just the same driver. He's just any other driver would be like, I'm like, no, like if you watch Chase Elliott after a while, like the guy has an edge to him and the guy has a chip on his shoulder. And when he allows it to come out in his driving, it's really fun to watch.
You may have said it when I was looking for the name, but like the 2019 Roval race, I believe, where he put in the tire barrier, came back to win, hit the "Are you not entertained?" pose on the front straightaway. Like, when Chase is peak Chase, there's some energy, there's a vibe there, and while he's been shut out from victory lane for over a year, he has still been very consistent lately. He's still very much a playoff contender. I think even without this win was going to make the playoffs, had a shot at least getting to the round of 8. I think we would all agree. Now, you never know. Sky's the limit. But winning that race in front of his home fans, and he's won Atlanta before. This wasn't his first win at Atlanta, but the way he got it done, last lap pass, attrition race, playoff pressure looming. Last time he won at Atlanta, I think he won multiple races that year, so it wasn't as special.
22, right?
Yes. So
I don't remember him winning in 22 for some reason.
That was the one with LaJoy.
Yes, where LaJoy.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Now I remember. Yep.
See, I remember that one too because I'd put money on LaJoy. That was back when he was still an underdog with the betters, and I was like, Chase Elliott just passed my $10,000 jackpot. Screw this guy.
He shouldn't have left the top open. Got to cover the top.
Yeah. But I mean, either way, I mean, this one did. I mean, it did have that crazy vibe. I mean, like outside of Chase's win at Atlanta, don't think we've had the most popular driver win their hometown race since like what, Dale Jr.'s 2000 All-Star race. Like,
shoot, I guess. Yeah.
Because I don't count when he won the showdown. Like, oh, big whoop. You're in the showdown. Like, you're Dale Jr. You shouldn't be there. Right. Chase winning at Atlanta, like that's something that is unique. You don't see that kind of thing. And with the race itself, too, of how it went about and how the energy of that race was as it went.
I would say also, I know it was Xfinity. Suarez winning Mexico had that same energy a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But you're right. Aside from, like, we don't typically get that kind of a pop, like you said, from the crowd. So it was cool. It was a good visual, and good that Chase Elliott earned that win. 2 against 1. Hendrick was able to outplay the RFK Ford. And now Elliott's officially locked into the playoffs. That narrative, at least for now, can sort of disappear.
I think had Hocevar worked out at Michigan, or if Brad ever won Michigan, it would have that similar effect, but not to the same extent as the most popular driver winning at their home track.
Yeah, exactly.
And I saw some people that were like, there's a lot of live posts on Reddit, and they'll like go for, a few hours after the race as people talk about it. And apparently the chat died down. And then there were other people, and they were putting stuff on Twitter too, that apparently like they went like buck wild partying all night long after that in Dawsonville, like with like Chase. I mean, like I wanted, this is like when I talked about, like, people thought I was complaining about Chase being too private and that he doesn't have a right to be. And when I talked about not seeing much, this is why I want to see more of Chase. Like, I'm genuinely intrigued how this guy acts when he just has the I don't give a fuck attitude. I'm genuinely intrigued by Chase Elliott, and I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah.
Something I thought was funny. We had a few storms in the area, and that kind of impacted some of the racing over the weekend. But I had a thought come to me, and I'm sure majority of people who live in Dawsonville are NASCAR fans. They're Chase Elliott fans. But just like any other town, there's going to be some people in the town who may just happen to live there. They've come there for whatever reason. Work might have brought them there for some reason. They may not care about NASCAR. They may not even follow it. And all of a sudden, it's 11-something p.m. at night after a stormy day, and you start hearing that siren going off in the middle of the night. Somebody went to their basement, though. That's all I got to say.
Siren?
Yeah, the siren going off at 11:30 p.m., and you don't know what's happening. I head to the basement. I put a funny tweet out there, and then most people was like, well, like most everyone would know about it. It's like, well, you'd be surprised. There's a guy I follow on Twitter, Ham Dog. He's a Georgia Bulldog fan, but I think he said he lives in Dawsonville and pays more attention to Georgia Bulldogs than he does NASCAR. So it was kind of that told him that Chase Elliott had won.
Well, and we talked about Bowman and Elliott. We talked about the Hendrick side of this thing, but this had to. I mean, second place cannot taste as bad as it had for Brad. I mean, that was just that race was as amazing as Chase's moves were. Brad Keselowski put on, in my opinion, a masterclass of side drafting and blocking during the finish of that race against superior tires against him. It looked vintage Brad.
He looked really good. And it's a shame that's going to go down in the books as yet another second place finish.
Yeah.
If he hadn't lost his drafting help, like Chris Buescher and Ryan Preece had some damage, but at one point they were all in the top 5 with him. And it felt like, okay, like Buescher and Brad at one point formed a mini blockade up front. But that's what makes New Atlanta so damn good, is unlike Daytona and Talladega, where you can form a blockade, you can't do that at Atlanta. The handling is too sketchy. Guys behind Buescher had tires that were able to get up there, mix it up, shake things up, and that ultimately shuffled Buescher and Preece out. And once it was Brad on an island, as good as he is, man, it's tough to beat. 2 Hendrick cars. Let's say those aren't teammates behind him. If he ends up with Justin Haley and Ty Gibbs on his rear bumper, maybe he hangs on or gets a chance to slingshot back to the lead. But because it was 2 Hendrick Chevys, just worst case scenario after losing his drafting help. But I agree with you, Jarrett, that for much of the evening was like vintage late 2010s Penske Brad Keselowski. At one point, I think he even came over the radio to complain about Logano throwing a late block. It was classic Brad. It was everything about it.
Well, having Dale Jr. in the booth too. At one point, how he was commenting about it. It was like that proud dad that's talking about his son, like just doing the same thing he was doing. Because like that's who he learned. That's who Brad learned a lot of this stuff from, right? And then having Junior up there saying like this is why he's doing each one of these things. It was a really interesting dynamic of like broadcaster driver, and you usually get that with like younger drivers, or like when you have Jeff Gordon in the booth and it was just every Hendrick driver he was talking about like that. But man, like you don't usually get that for a veteran driver who a lot of people gotta keep hitting this damn mic. A lot of people have been whack. Let's play whack. I'm not even gonna finish what I was about to say. But
yeah, I think I know what you're gonna say.
I think you do too.
I don't think you should say it.
Everyone gets one, Peter. But you don't usually get that from somebody like Brad that's in that position and been in the sport as long as he's been. It's like the race, all in all, and we'll talk probably more about all the other stuff in the broadcast, everything like that. It definitely was unique, and I think that's like a lot of the charm that people had with this race too.
Yep.
It was also unique seeing 23 cars pile into turn 3 just past the stage 2 break.
And it was right after a smaller crash, but it was a decent sized crash. And then that's when everyone knew their brackets were done.
Oh, 100%. My bracket was done the first crash. I had Blaney and Bell advancing, and I was
literally zero perfect brackets after this weekend.
Yeah, maybe next year, not start the bracket with Atlanta or Daytona.
Or maybe don't even have a super speedway style track in this.
But you got to remember, you got to remember though, that like they got to pay out $1 million if like a fan gets it right. They're not going to make it easy.
This was their insurance policy. Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
make it impossible.
I don't know if you guys have seen the forecast for Chicago this week, but if it wasn't Atlanta that was going to get him, it was going to be Chicago.
I guess the way this works with the bracket thing, going back to that, like they don't have to give anybody any money because the caveat was only if there was a perfect bracket, and not even if there was like the next closest bracket to being perfect would get like 10 grand or something like that.
I don't honestly know how it works, but yeah, I would assume nobody gets the grand prize since it's.
I would say if no one gets a perfect bracket, then just do something, at least do like 10 grand or something like that.
I don't know. I know DraftKings or someone is like, based on like matchup to matchup, you can bet on it. I don't bet on sports, so I'm not the right person to analyze it. But I know there are other ways to still play, even though the bracket itself is destroyed.
I stopped betting because it's like I think you guys remember I told you when I cashed in on that Cindric one, I think on like $1,200 or something, right? And that was awesome. But the first thing I was thinking is like, how much of that $1,200 did I eat into over the last 2 years and like the last couple months after getting stuff wrong? Like I got a lot of them right, but how many did I get wrong, right?
But something like that where there's no entry fee, it's just for the fun of it. Sure, hop in on that stuff and have fun.
But that, like, I mean, you look at all the names that are on the bottom points wise here that people probably picked to win this thing, and most of them were in the bottom 10 finishers of this race because of that crash.
Between the first wreck and then, of course, the big one, all 4 Penske cars, including Josh Berry, were taken out of the race. I mean, they're your 4 favorites right there. They qualified 1 through 4. I think half of Joe Gibbs Racing was knocked out by that point. Half of Hendrick Motorsports was knocked out by that point. William Byron, 2-time defending Daytona 500 winner, knocked out at that point. It was wide open. But I do think that's also why it stings all the more for Keselowski to lose, because all 3 Roush cars made it through. So a little damage on the 60, but like they all made it through and they weren't able to win the race. But that was huge. That was huge wreck.
That wreck, what it did, like it not only changed the race, but like at that moment, you knew, like, as if you're a Brad Keselowski fan, like this is the opportunity. You got a ton of the great competition all wiped out in either 1 or 2 wrecks, depending on who you seen as your biggest competition. Your team is all there. The other teams have people there, but like, like Hendrick had like Larson there, but he was damaged. So
Yeah.
Bowman and Elliott was about the only ones that you could really beat. It's a classic 2000s Roush Hendrick battle for the win in this race. Yeah. I mean, we were looking at some of these people that like would look like everyone call a Jag, like just a guy. Like it was a race of Jags, and then it was Keselowski, Bowman, and Elliott. That's what it was. And now, in my opinion, the season goes to Daytona for Brad. Like that's the only one I can confidently look at.
You're not wrong.
I won't say that yet, just because he has shown top 5, top 10 speed the past few weeks. He's not going to contend at the road races, but like Indy coming up, there'll be a couple other chances. I think
he has won Indy before.
Yeah, so I won't say Daytona or bust for Brad just yet. All of Roush looks to be pretty good right now, but yeah, it's his chances go way down.
I could see them randomly bringing speed to Iowa too, for that matter.
Exactly, you never know. Chris Buescher has 4 straight top 10 finishes. Like, I'll have what he's having. Put that in my car.
If they can get a good car for Iowa, they'll also have a good car for Richmond.
The problem with me for Brad and why I don't trust him is I don't trust his crew chief. I don't trust the crew chief.
After Pocono, how could you?
I mean, you're looking at Indianapolis, right? That is a strategy race, and you're having to go. Who is the 33rd, I think, ranked crew chief in NASCAR right now? Like, no, thank you.
Wait, did somebody put out crew chief rankings?
I think there was some. I don't know like how accurate there, but it's like I think it was average finish of over like the last X amount of races.
Oh, Boland's would be low because he had a couple years with Harrison Burton as well. So that's.
But look at the 21 before and after.
Yeah, fair enough.
Look at the 6 before. I mean, wasn't he with the 2 with Cindric too in his bad year?
He was. I don't know. I don't remember. It might have been one of the better years because Cindric's like rookie year technically was probably his best year. If you look back at it, I don't remember who he was with.
Common denominator that's really, really denominating.
There's also, a little bit happening at RFK this week where someone who's had a huge involvement with the team for Eric, know more about Roush. How long has that guy been at Roush?
I knew it had been a while. I think I read 15 years. Steve Newmark had been. Yeah. I don't know if he was president the whole time, but now he's gone.
He's following Bill Belichick to University of North Carolina.
Yeah, so that's an interesting behind the scenes business turnover.
I saw that it's UNC, and I was like, he's going to UNC. I was like, "Oh, UNC! This is
how still got it.
I still got it with college sports."
Bill Belichick be like,
"Well, I mean, have you seen his girlfriend?
Unk still got it.
Unk still got it.
Speaking of
a lot of money.
Speaking of still getting it, there's only 16 drivers who still got it in the in-season challenge, and I just wanted to give y'all some names, some matchups that maybe we for sure didn't see coming. And it's crazy the names of who could possibly win this thing still. You will have Ty Dillon going up against Brad Keselowski. You will have
Ty. That's a juggernaut, man.
He upset the number 1 seed. This is a Cinderella
juggernaut, bitch.
Okay, they're going to Chicago Straight Course though. So
it's Ty Dillon, man.
Hey, Ty Dillon could beat Brad there.
Yeah.
The 17 finished second last year. That's all I'll say. You got Alex Bowman, defending winner of Chicago, going up against Bubba Wallace, not really known for his road course racing.
They were pissed at each other at the end of Chicago last year. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Little rivalry, little one year to the next.
True. You got John Hunter Nemechek going up against Chase Elliott. That's rough, buddy.
Yeah, it'll be a tough one for John Hunter.
I like this one. Eric Jones versus Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Neither are good road racers, so that could be. I'd take Jones in that matchup.
I'd take Jones in the power of friendship.
And then over on the other side, we got Noah Gragson versus Ryan Preece. That's a fun one.
Over under 3.5 times in the tire barriers for Gragson this weekend. He basically took out a second mortgage living in the barriers.
Thing, man. If it rains, over.
And it's looking like rain could happen. So this is where things get interesting. Carson Hocevar versus Tyler Reddick. You naturally want to think Reddick, but Reddick seems to have an off year a little bit.
That team's off.
A little off, yeah. Hocevar, shout out to him. Got damage in the big one and still finished 10th.
I mean, you got to remember Mexico, though, with Reddick, like he was just gone. And Hocevar would have beat him if it wasn't for just having a freaking meltdown at the end of the race.
I'm going to save this one because I feel like this is the best matchup of the weekend. Zane Smith versus Chris Buescher. That's could be an interesting one, but Chris Buescher did get second here a year ago. But this last one could be the best one. One driver has had the best average finish at the Chicago Street Course in 2 races. The other one is usually known for road course racing, but hasn't done particularly well at this one. AJ Allmendinger versus Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, that's actually a really good matchup for a road course.
Yeah,
And
I could go either way.
But Ty Gibbs, actually, believe it or not, has the best average finish of any driver at the Chicago Street Course with 6.0.
Yeah, I think he might be the only driver with 2 top 10s. And both years, I look at the average finish stats for Chicago, and I know we'll talk Chicago at the end of the show, so I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's so hard to judge those because both years, the strategy was completely upended by the race suddenly being shortened due to darkness.
Yeah,
like
Alex Bowman and SVG, the 2 winners at Chicago Street Course, their average finish at the street course is 19.5 and 20.5.
Well, like 2 years ago, Justin Haley, love him. He had no business finishing second in that race. He just got up there because the strategy was flipped by the weather. So,
yeah,
it's hard to put too much stock in the average finish, but yes, Ty Gibbs has been fast.
Yeah. The intriguing part for me about Ty Gibbs is the top of the box now. Like,
yes.
Again, if we're looking at the bad side with Brad, like the good side with Ty is there's some real experience that's been put up at the top of that box that I think is going to make an immediate impact, at least in confidence in the top of the box from the driver.
100%. Back-to-back road course races, which Ty's already good at, plus weather threatening at least the first one. I want Chris Gabehart in my ear calling strategy. Like that is an advantage, no doubt.
Yeah. And, if we're looking at that matchup, Ty was really damn fast at Mexico too. And it just didn't work out. It was just bad luck more than anything else.
People gave me grief today for putting Ty Gibbs in my top 10 weekly power rankings. This is why, because he's been on a decent roll lately and he's got 2 great tracks coming up and he's got the best crew chief now in his ear. Like that's why I'm feeling Ty Gibbs right now.
The entire organization, from what it sounded like, is putting their concerted effort into making sure the 54 gets in.
Yep. It'll be interesting.
Put up or shut up. Next 8 races.
All right. Moving on from that. What do we mean by Atlanta comes through again? What
it was
really
fucking good.
Okay, just being a good race. Okay.
It was a good race, man. I'm running 4 hours of sleep, so I'm sorry. My filter is not as good.
A little delirious.
No, you're good. And
is the engine on behind you? Are there fumes in that garage, Jarrett? Do we need to worry about your safety?
We're at 91, man. We might be below 90 by the end of the Cup segment.
And then you can hang the banner.
Yeah.
And you said it, not me. Wink.
But yeah, Atlanta, as much as it was controversial to make this change a couple years ago, this is now, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've completed a 4th year with this configuration. Can you guys believe that? 4 years.
Yeah. Wow. 8
this
races.
Configuration. And I hate to say it, it's the best drafting racetrack that this car goes to.
That's the easy one. The big question that I saw a lot of people putting out there, is it the best track right now in the Cup Series?
My argument for that is I think it is unequivocally the most exciting edge of your seat, hold your breath track on the schedule. Is it the best all-around racetrack? I would still look at Darlington or Homestead or maybe Kansas.
You gotta remember the next gen. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is like I still feel those racetracks are the best demonstrators of driver skill, man and machine. I would still maybe point to those intermediates, but Atlanta, you can't deny it. Atlanta is thrilling start to finish right now, unlike any other track.
Eric, have you made it to Atlanta since it's been changed yet?
I've never been to Atlanta.
I don't think either of us have outside of you, Danny.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's always been like a weird hole on my schedule, but at this point, I got to pull whatever strings.
We might have to make that work next spring to go, because I haven't been in a couple of years now.
Yeah, I'd love to. I feel like I have to at this point. It's too good. Even before the big wreck, it's been this way for a couple of years now.
I'll say this: I think it got better after the big wreck. Like the aggression was higher, the runs. So like a lot of people
wasn't as much traffic to deal with.
You didn't have the Penske guys leading the whole time, which may have been the case otherwise.
A lot of people have talked about talked about the Clash, All-Star Race, all of that. North Wilkesboro needs a date and all that stuff. And what's the opening? And a lot of time people bring up Atlanta, and I kind of scoff it off like, nah, because I don't know how it'd be really with like a small pack. We haven't seen it yet. Like, honestly, I thought the race was better. It gave me some of the old school Pepsi 400 vibes in the runs, in how spread out it was, and the fact that like you'd see guys go in the corner because of how much more worn out the track is starting to get. And you'd see guys like break off and go down the bottom, get runs on the top. And
you see him snap loose and slide up the track almost every lap.
I love it. I love it. I will fully admit, was totally wrong on this. Don't do it again, please.
That's my takeaway from this. Is in hindsight, this is such a fun track. I wish they did it to Texas and they just repaved Atlanta and kept it as it. Like, then we'd have a great traditional mile and a half and a great new super speedway. Instead, we still have sketchy Texas, and this wasn't the most efficient way to do it, but Atlanta is a good track now.
It's really damn good. Like, and it fits this car perfectly. It was designed for this car, and it's it's crazy to say it's aging after 4 years, but it's like, if you look at a side by side of that track compared to when it started in 22, in March of 2022, I think it was, like, it is noticeably more worn than like Talladega was 4 years or Daytona was 4 years into their repaves.
The drivers were starting to say, and they've said this now for a year or two, but they keep saying, hey, give it a few more years and you're going to see it. It's not necessarily going to race like a super speedway anymore. There'll still be a draft. There'll still be an air effect, but like, this could get even racier. Now, I don't know if that'll mean a better show or not, but that's encouraging that it seems at least now that the drivers to an extent are bought in. Did you hear Denny Hamlin this week? Hamlin, usually anti-next gen, doesn't love the state of current super speedway racing, but he said that he got FOMO watching the end of that race from his couch. He wanted to be in there with Elliott, with Bowman, with Keselowski.
The wreck was so big, don't let it be forgotten that Brad and Bowman were actually in that wreck. They hit each other.
Yeah.
It was that big that people who were still, going to be contending were involved in that wreck.
Well, and like the question I have with Atlanta moving forward too is, you see there's a night and day difference of the attendance, the TV ratings, mostly, not this week, but mostly, especially when you look at the Fox portion of the year. There's a night and day difference of money that is definitely coming into that track. And so like, if you're SMI, if you're NASCAR on that, like, what do you do with it? Do you let it basically phase out? Because it is too small of a track, in my opinion, to be weathered and worn and still race the way it is now and race as a super speedway. Do you just let it age naturally and gracefully and maybe do it somewhere else? Or do you just say, F it, after every 10 years, we're just going to dig this baby up and do it again?
Yeah, I wonder. I didn't think about that. What if this just gets repaved every decade? Yeah, I feel like what's going to happen is there's going to be a race 2, 3, 4 years from now. There's going to be a race where it's not what we expected. Maybe it looks like Spring Bristol where tires are suddenly blowing out, or there is no pack. It's all strung out. Like, there will be a race where everyone comes away like scratching their heads. What was that? And that will be the okay, got to do something, got to pull a trigger, change the aero package, repave the track. But I think it's going to take a weird race for that to finally happen.
If it ever gets to a point where the surface is going away so much that we just don't have, the ability to draft like we do now, and it just becomes more like a normal track because of the banking, I feel like we'll see a lot of guys play the game of making those runs up on the high side and coming off of the momentum, and guys who, can figure out better on the bottom. And even then, we kind of saw that in this one. I would notice Bowman would be a lot more comfortable on the bottom compared to some guys up on the top. There'd be some guys who just prefer running the top lane. So we're already starting to see some glimpses of people realizing, hey, I can make a better run in this part of the track as opposed to that part of the track.
Yeah, it's become a really racy super speed. It's become the best super speedway on the schedule for sure.
It is the one style of racing that I always say is the most like an old school EA Sports video game. If you have a casual race fan, of course they're going to want to see a Daytona, a Talladega, but tell them, hey, don't sleep on that race. Watch that if you want to watch a NASCAR race all season.
Yeah, good stuff. And I thought TNT picked a good one for their first race, albeit a Saturday night event. That's going to hurt their ratings.
That's local for them now.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. They're based in Atlanta, so that makes a lot of sense. What did you guys think of their first broadcast?
I love the opening. Before we say anything else, like y'all
The
saw that
Snoop Dogg,
opening,
or
right?
not the Snoop Dogg? I'm sorry, the
No.
Ludacris opening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg's usually in everything else.
I was low key braced myself to hear it. TNT.
I do miss that, but I gotta say, like, that was a hell of a good opening. Like,
Yeah.
before saying anything else, like, I think we can all agree on that. But
Yeah.
But there is some downsides because I for one took a picture of Cole Custer being shown in the 38, not involved in a crash.
There
I'll-
were a
I'll-
couple
I'll-
typos.
I'm this thing. So I most of the people in my comments were very positive after the race about it. I have not looked at what, I've been on the road yesterday, been with family today. I've not really seen most of what people think. So I might be on an unpopular side or not. I really wasn't crazy about it. And maybe it's because of the prime lead in, and that's just, no one was going to follow that one up. But it was not the personnel that was the problem. I'll say that. Like, the booth was fine.
Well, no, because that's the
Pits were
exact same
fine.
as Prime. So
Yeah, the pits were fine. I thought that the pre and post race host, and all three of them did just fine. They did really good. The production and the commercials too at times were very Fox-esque to me, and it's so jarring after Prime to me. So like, I wasn't crazy about it, which is I wish I wasn't saying that.
So the commercials didn't bother me a ton, and that's saying something because I was watching on HBO Max, which meant I got full screen ads every time. They didn't show side by sides, and I still didn't feel the commercials were like that overbearing. I mean, yeah, it was jarring, like you said, coming from Prime, and yes, there were a few moments where I was like, "Damn, I wish I had a side by side like apparently all the other cable users in the country." But that wasn't my big takeaway. My two complaints, if they are even complaints, they're very minor. One, on my end, the ambient noise of like the car engines and stuff sounded a little like muffled or out of tune. At least at the end when Chase wins, you could hear the crowd, you could hear them cheering. Like, that was good. But I just felt like maybe there's something with their audio settings. Didn't love. Minor thing. But the real way TNT fell short of Prime, and even to some degree Fox, is they did not capture the scale of the event like Prime did. Prime, it was easy. They had a giant stage. They usually placed it in a populated area close to the fans, in front of the cars, drivers coming and going. It felt very real, on the ground, firsthand reporting, conversation, made it feel like a big event, very college game day. Fox, for all their faults, would put Chris Myers and Boyer and Harvick on the grid most weeks, standing right there in front of the field, in front of the pole position car, people shuffling about, mingling about. The pre and post race / studio shows, correct me if I'm wrong, it was mostly Shannon Spake, McMurray, and Kligerman, like in an office somewhere is what it looked like, or in a booth somewhere. And it just sort of, it felt
that
that
due to lightning though and stuff too, at least at first.
Okay, then let's watch for it this weekend. Maybe you're right. Maybe there was weather complications.
There might be weather this weekend that's a complicator of it.
But that was my only complaint. Like, it's not a huge thing, but it's more a point to where Prime went above and beyond, and TNT clearly cut corners in this instance. So
like,
that was my only other real complaint.
If this was Prime this weekend, I'm like, let's just go all out. Let's have them set up inside a deep dish pizza joint, having the pre-race show. Let's just get into it.
But I think one of the other things too is I wasn't crazy about a lot of the camera shots, direction of it too. Like, especially if you like the finish, like I don't know why it felt like kind of like a pre-CW Xfinity race, truck race kind of finish, where it's like Adam Alexander is calling his heart out. Right. I think did a great job at the finish. And then they like take this like wide shot of the pack crossing the line, like going like it was like lap 54 or something. I don't know. Maybe that's a nitpick, maybe, or whatnot. Something to me was just a little off with it. And my thing is, like, each of these providers this year, their first race has been their best one. Daytona 500, Fox generally has been the best one. Prime 600, I thought was phenomenal. And I think the Atlanta race will be the best one for TNT. And so I'm kind of worried, like, what's the fall off going to be for TNT if people are kind of like, oh, it's kind of good, a little lukewarm, it's mostly positive for now. Like, what's that kind of fall off after 5 weeks going to be?
I'll say this about TNT. While this was their home race, you're right. They have bigger events coming. Chicago is usually a bigger event now than Atlanta. And Indy, Brickyard 400, while it may not have the atmosphere of the Indy 500, it's still a big event, draws in the casual viewer. So let's see if they throw, like I mentioned, them cutting some corners here and there. They may not cut those same corners for their 1 or 2 marquee events here in a few weeks, but we'll have to wait and see.
I completely forgot about this. Dirty Death pointed out, said, I enjoyed the alt cast. It was like watching the race of Larry Mack and Jeff Burton in your living room.
Yeah, the little bit I flipped over for a few minutes and watched it, and then they did a little cut in on the main broadcast. I saw they had Chipper Jones in there at one point. I think I don't know who else, what other guests they had. It was a little jarring to see that on like cable television. I don't know, like it felt kind of like YouTube-y, like, you know, but it was kind of cool. Like I actually kind of enjoyed that. Like they're saying, it felt very casual, conversational. I might give it a little more of a watch this next week because it'll be easier to follow the individual matchups in the tournament. I didn't even really bother at Atlanta because, like, how on earth were you going to keep track of all those head-to-heads in a pack race, especially after the big one? I just sort of said, I'll save that for Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about it, really.
About to say, I'm like, okay.
That's about all we can say from EchoPark Speedway.
Do we want to talk playoffs for just a moment or do a quick cut line update?
Playoffs? We're talking playoffs?
There's only 7 or 8 weeks to go.
Yep, we're talking playoffs. Chris Buescher is sitting okay, plus 52. Alex Bowman, after his third place finish, he is good, plus 39. And then Bubba Wallace is relieved that no one knew one. He's plus 23. And Ryan Preece is now 17th, the last one, the first one out, minus 23. And Eric Jones is sitting 18th, minus 49. If you didn't hear your name called, you're either too good that you're not in trouble or you're screwed, buddy.
Hey, man, I mean, Eric Jones clawing his way up there. He's got to win. He's not going to point his way in, but that's impressive after how terrible. I mean, he was like 30th in points 9 races into the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to see, didn't he got, it was a DQ, right? Earlier this year that cost him probably like 20 points. Something like that.
Sounds right. I mean, it seems like something always happens to that.
Martinsville,
team.
he failed to meet minimum weight. Looks like he probably was lost about 15 points as a result.
Those would have made a real difference there in that graphic. He would have been about 11 behind Preece.
Yeah. So no, to your point, Eric Jones, he hasn't had the same flashes as Nemechek, who like just had a couple of top 10s in a row. But of the 2 legacy guys, he just continues to be the steadiest and most reliable. So that is pretty impressive. But you're right, Danny. I mean, they are going to need to win. I think even Bubba Wallace is probably in must-win mode. It's hard because like he could point his way in, and all he has to do maybe is pass Bowman or maybe catch Buescher. But I think those are tall tasks.
The remaining schedule, Chicago street race could still be a wild card. It's a lot of people would love to see SVG. If you're above the cutoff line, you'd love to see an SVG win that. Same with Sonoma. But if Michael McDowell wins that, then that pushes someone out. Dover, maybe less likely for a wild card. Could have seen crazier things happen. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I'm not banking on a wild card winner for that one, but you never know. Iowa, Richmond, probably not much different. We're going to see
Austin Dillon.
Well, yeah, what am I talking about? Forgot about that. Maybe he'll bring his random speed out again. And Watkins Glen, of course, that's another one. They're praying SVG just wins all the road courses and doesn't give them much to worry about. And then we get to Daytona.
So one of the things, I didn't put him on because he doesn't need to be on this right now, but plus 128 with Tyler Reddick 13th. I think he's safe, right? But
yeah,
I will say, I think Buescher and that 17 team are head and shoulders above him. Now they're 76 points back, But again, you keep moving that line up more and more, and he keeps falling more and more because that's what Reddick has been doing for the most part. They're just been mediocre. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him, at least his name on that graphic before the end of the regular season. And that's even without it being 3 extra winners to get his name on that graphic, which, he's plus 128 seems great and all, but there's some big chunks that can get taken out just by new winners.
I feel good about on that graphic, and I know he's not on there. I actually do think Reddick has a good chance of winning a race in these final 8. I think Buescher, they've shown a ton of speed. I think those 2 will probably win races. I think I said in a video a few weeks ago, out of Buescher, Bowman, Wallace, 2 of them are probably going to make it. 1 is probably going to miss. Take your pick at this point, because I don't think Bowman or Bubba have shown consistent winning speed. Bowman's a better road racer, so that could play to his favor here soon, but I don't know. I feel like the cut line is really 14th versus 15th there. Like, I think Bowman and Bubba are in almost must-win mode.
Yeah.
But I think about covers it with the Cup side. We still got the other 2 races to talk about. We got two different tracks this weekend, so we'll get to that in a bit.
We do got to talk about TV ratings, and don't ever say that Atlanta's going to get 3.5 million viewers. What was I on last week?
Yeah, that was ill-advised.
I thought that was pushing it just for normal cable race, let alone all the other things that happened still.
TNT and True TV scored 1.608 million viewers. There is no comparison of 2024, and that number does not include HBO Max viewers, but I don't think that would help it by too much.
Ryan, I was helping.
I know HBO Max has a good base.
It's probably not. It can't have been more than like 100,000 maybe.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like this. I get there was some delays in it and all, but like, it genuinely surprises me that this is the lowest watched scheduled NASCAR race since at least the mid 90s. It's lower than the Bristol night race has been. Like, that's nuts. I genuinely, it blew my mind. It was that low. And this is why we don't have Saturday night races outside of like Daytona.
Yeah. I mean, 100%.
It sucks.
And honestly, even the Daytona race, if they moved it to Sunday afternoon, would probably get better ratings. Even with all the tradition behind it, it would probably still do better on Sunday afternoon.
If it was moved to Sunday night too. The only problem with Sunday night is that they have Sunday night football with the preseason to go against, because God forbid we miss a goddamn preseason game.
Jeez.
But there's no other way to put it. Like, that is atrociously bad. Even if they don't get delayed by what? I think it was 40 minutes total or something, and then maybe the red flags add another like 10 to 15. Like, I'm sorry, you're not making up the extra million viewers USA Network would have got you on this.
Yeah, well, I do think TNT put less work into their promotion than Prime did. I know there's some TNT ads over the NBA playoffs, but those ended almost a month ago. Like, there wasn't the immediate lead up that Prime seemed to really embrace. I mean, Prime had documentary, like the Earnhardt documentary coming out a week before the 600 was excellent timing. I think genius marketing.
I'm gonna be honest, like they put those out in the NBA playoffs, and they put a few others, some other places on like Turner own broadcasts, but it really felt like, especially the social media side, like for months I kept seeing, Junior and Letarte in that damn car at Charlotte talking about Prime, right? Like, it kind of felt half-assed, honestly. Like the social media push, there was none. And if they made a push, it was like a little shove and nothing of it. And it shows.
One thing I want to see, I didn't really notice, maybe I'd go back and look, but like, I know with this deal, there were going to be a lot more Bleacher Report, NASCAR tie-ins. And Bleacher Report on social media obviously is massive across a variety of channels and platforms. I'd want to go back and see how was this race covered by Turner on social media and some of their own channels. I'd just be curious to see, because maybe they did more than I realized. Because there was a post from Adam Stern or some report this week that NASCAR on social did seem to make quite a splash in terms of impressions, and I wondered if it had something to do with the Bleacher Report tie-in. But maybe maybe you can find that.
Anecdotally, I'm looking on Bleacher Report's
Let me see if it was a Stern tweet. I'll pull it up.
I'm looking on Bleacher Report's Instagram post, and the NASCAR stuff is buried. And the only NASCAR thing, as I scroll down and find, is Malik Neighbors being at the race. I'm not going to click it because if the
Here we
audio
go.
goes over.
Warner Brothers. This is what I saw. This was from Stern. Warner Brothers social media platforms, Bleacher Report, Bleacher Report Racing, and House of Highlights generated 17 million video views about NASCAR over the weekend per the network. So that sounds good social media wise, but I also don't know. Like, it's the network themselves saying we generated this kind of interest. I don't know if you can trust those numbers fully, but still, sounds good.
It sounds good. It's just like, what's this? If there's anything we've learned this year, whether it's looking at the Fox execs that want to go at anyone talking about streaming wanting to put different numbers as the most important ones, or maybe this, like, it's the spin factor. This year has been a lesson in the spin factor in so many ways. Like, so yeah, they might have had 17 million views, but I know a lot of them on Twitter now where I'll be scrolling through and they put their tweet as an ad. So it automatically plays that video. And what Twitter does is it doesn't count like concurrent viewers or any of that. It just counts views. As soon as it starts up, it's a view. So it's like, maybe they did that. I don't know. Like, I follow the NASCAR Bleacher Report side of things. And it's like, honestly, it's any other social media account. It's like not really well followed, all things considered. And yeah, they probably somehow came to that 17 million. I would like to know like how they got there.
You guys just had me going down the rabbit hole trying to see, is there any NASCAR on TNT like Twitter account? Because we would see, NASCAR on Fox, NASCAR on NBC. I think there's even a NASCAR on Prime. I don't even know if this is an official account, but I have only found one NASCAR on TNT account that has 130 followers. They're following two accounts, Bleacher Report and NASCAR. That's it.
I think it might be the Bleacher Report Racing might be essentially their dedicated account.
Joined April 2025. And then there's another account, joined May 2024, says NASCAR on TNT, coming 2025, only 29 followers, following two accounts. This is probably not correct.
But I'll ask in general, like how many people are going to connect? Oh, Bleacher Report, that's TNT, right? Like basketball.
I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. So like that's my big question. There's like, there's so many cut corners, it felt like, whether it be the production, whether it felt like graphics, whether it felt like social media and advertising push. Like there were some ads, don't get me wrong. Like there are people in there like there hasn't been a single ad. And it's like, okay, like dumbass, like there have been, but
just so I can clarify, Bleacher Report, that is TNT Turner owned, I guess.
Yes.
So, okay.
Warner, technically, I think.
Okay. To quote the Trump meme, wow, you're telling me this for the first time. I didn't know that.
I thought you were going to do the new. I thought you were going to do a new quote that's been going around. They don't know what they're doing.
No, that's Fox.
Well played, Danny. Oh man, what else we got? We got to get some positive in it.
Well, there's always what the poll suggested.
Poll.
Yep. Not the crazy Rocky movie poll I've got in the chat. The famous iceberg poll. What did you guys think of this race? 13,000 people voted on the race at EchoPark Speedway in Atlanta. 75% of people said it was a great race. 17% people said it was a good race, meaning that 92% of people gave this a net positive rating. 5% of people said it was an average race, and 3% of Chase Elliott haters said it was a negative race.
Yeah, so to kind of go a little more in depth here, this race ties the Coke 600 for most positive, though there were more great votes on this one. So race of the year, possibly. I personally thought it was a good race, maybe not race of the year, but people really, really loved it on that end, just this year in general. As for Atlanta races, this race is the second highest on the poll with 92% positive, only beat by last year's spring race. I'm shocked that was at 95%, just absolutely shocking. And, looking at the split with these Atlanta races. I mean, the majority of the Atlanta races that have been polled on here, the top 7 are on New Atlanta, and then only 1 of the remaining 4 is from New Atlanta. As for super speedways, this only was beat by that spring race last year. It tied the 2024 summer Daytona race and the 2019 Talladega fall race, as well as the 2020 summer race when they got back from COVID, and the 2019 spring race are all tied at 92%. That's like the
very consistent.
limit. Yeah. But it's second out of 34 polled super speedway races. So generally this was a very popular race for fans.
Yes, it was. And speaking of popular races for fans, the Xfinity Series.
Well, I was going to ask you if you wanted to guess some comments here and gutters and all.
Oh, my bad. I will shut up.
Well, I want to know first comment. Like positive, negative, or meme.
I forgot. I'm getting ahead of myself. Who is it?
Spencer.
Oh, it's
analytical. I'm gonna go neutral.
Analytical. Wow.
Like he's gonna be like studying. He's been talking about like what this win means for Elliott, stuff like that.
It could be a meme though after the big wreck.
Well, that was a bracket buster of a race on Saturday night. If you still have a perfect bracket after that race, somehow you the real MVP. Well, there is no MVP.
I guess that is
neutral. I guess
this is kind of neutral meme.
As for the comments here, Holden McMillan had the top voted one, who said, and he quoted Ty Dillon, not Ty Gibbs, Ty Dillon, saying, "To all the Denny fans out there, I just knocked out your favorite driver." Ty Dillon post-race quote of the night. You know what? Good for Ty Dillon actually having his moment, right?
Yeah.
And that was probably rehearsed for like a week or two, or probably the week that they knew like the matchup would be.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like, good for you, Ty Dillon. I'm happy for him.
I like Ty leaning into it, and I like Danny like playing along and not
being a good sport.
Not pouting about it or something silly.
Let's see. Brixid, I think it is, said Atlanta is the best track on the schedule. Carter said, really great super speedway race. I was watching Elliott's onboard for the last half of the race, and he pulled off some crazy moves. The drivers put on a show tonight. Matt says, if you didn't like that race, you don't like NASCAR, and you wouldn't like it even in the 2000s. I gotta say, super speedway race, I agree.
Yeah.
SBG says 16th for McLeod. Hang the banner.
He was up in there all night after the wreck. Good for him.
With the Pigeon Ford Racing coaster car.
I'm not even going to say hang the banner. That's just like actually really good. Like I'm not going to say it even in jest. Like that's actually a really good finish for him.
He played it smart and wasn't involved in that big wreck, and he was there at the end.
Kachiga says, amazing race the entire time, and W for my boy, William Clyde Elliott. And then Jordan says, as a Brad Keselowski fan, I hated it.
Damn.
Fair enough. Now,
understandable. Have a good day.
To the gutter comments. Heosity says, I still prefer the old Atlanta race style, but the last few races here, I'm fully convinced this race had me on my feet for the last 40 laps. It was a beauty to watch. I would say race of the year up to this point. So very positive.
Why is that gutter?
I don't know.
Wow. Unless only because he said I prefer the old style.
That probably was it was. And if
nobody read any further than that, that would be very on brand for the internet.
It's like that's all I needed to say. That's it.
Ghosty says all that for Mickey Mouse to win. What a joke.
Okay, I see why that's in the gutter.
Yep, that's not shocking to find that one there.
And then Smokey76 says, anytime Elliott wins, NASCAR loses.
Okay, yep, that's gutter.
Yeah, not shocked at all.
All right.
And now I throw this away.
Good stuff. Thanks for voting, everyone.
Oh, yeah. Top voted one of the year.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah. So.
Okay, now, had Elliott just pushed Bowman, we could have saw a 48 sweep this weekend. Nick Sanchez gets his first win of his Xfinity Series career with Big Machine Racing.
Good for him.
Yeah.
This is the second win, I think, for that 48 car ever.
Yeah, the first one was Tyler Reddick. That's been a while now. If it was Tyler Reddick,
It was a couple of years ago at Texas, I think. He came in, was like a cup guy, ringer.
Jarrett, what's the temperature? I see you looking.
We're under 90, 87.
Hang the banner, Joe Nemechek number.
Woohoo!
Is it bad? I thought of Connor Zilic first.
That's who I actually thought of too. But I would say like
Am I the only one to put some respect on Joe Nemechek?
I know, honestly.
In the 87, in the last couple of years, sure.
Watch, he's gonna be a random driver now.
That's a hint. No, I'm kidding. No, but when it comes to Sanchez, like that team's been really chipping away, getting better as the year goes on. Like you've seen this team actually improve. You've seen the driver improve. And you know what? Some of the better ones got taken out, and that team was pretty damn good beforehand at Atlanta. So it's like I'm not surprised to see him go up there and get that win.
Yeah.
I have to ask Jarrett. I assume you were, since you stream after him. Eric, were you able to stay up for that one? Because I fell asleep watching it.
I did stay up and watch it. It's weird. I can't picture the finish at all. I remember Sanchez getting out of the car and being happy. I don't remember how it ended. I missed the very beginning, so I didn't even see it first live. What happened to like Austin Hill? I know there was a wreck and some other drama.
So Hill had
he had trouble early on.
He had
yes.
Was it a power issue? I think it was.
Yes. It might have been a fuel pump going out.
Fuel pump. Yes, you're right,
Yeah,
Danny. It was a fuel pump. You're right. I gotta say, for as memorable as the Cup race was, the Xfinity races here have just not been good.
It's not great because it's usually dominated by Hill, even Jesse Love with damage was up there racing for the lead.
He still finished sixth, I think.
Crazy how good those cars are. But no, Sanchez. I mean, Sanchez deserves a lot of credit. I know a lot of people think he's pretty good. He's never been, even in trucks, right, with Rev Racing, like those were good but not the best trucks. So he's never been an A tier equipment, at least not full time. Maybe there was a one-off I'm not thinking of. So to see him now win, he has a win at Daytona, right, in trucks, and now he has a win at Atlanta in Xfinity. Like at least he's getting the job done, even if it's just at these drafting tracks.
And he's still really young. How old is Nick Sanchez?
He's 20,
got to be in his early 20s.
How old is he? I'm guessing 21.
I don't see that he's a
24. He's older than
little older.
Yeah, older than I thought.
He's kind of like Christopher Bell, has a very young face, I think.
That is true.
Full baby face.
He is somebody that if we get in a situation where RCR promotes either Love or Hill to Cup and they have another opening for one of their cars, I would put him as a candidate to move over from Big Machine into an RCR, a little bit better car.
I could see it. I could totally see that.
Certainly.
The funny part for me now is like, which one of those guys at RCR are they actually going to elevate? Is it going to be Hill or is it going to be Jesse Love at this point with like the progression he's had?
Love's now.
Probably Love has more of a opportunity to stay longer, in my opinion.
Well, Jesse Love now has been linked to Legacy Motor Club, so he may not have a path at RCR.
Well, Jesse Love did start off in TRD, so
yes,
but it did also, because Sanchez, I believe, was, if he wasn't under, he was in that playoff picture before, so it did kind of change up a little at the cut line.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Oh, Sheldon Creed. Can I take a small victory lap? And maybe this is a premature, and I hate to use the word celebration, but at the beginning of this year, it wasn't on this show, it was on a different show. I said that I'm out on Sheldon Creed. I no longer consider him one of the top 5, top 6 prospects in the lower ranks. Like he's fine, but like I'm tired of people telling me how good Sheldon Creed is. I think I'm vindicated right now. Dude he's still winless. I don't know how many years it's been, how many dozens and dozens starts, still winless, not even close. And now he's barely hanging on to a playoff spot. He's not as good as Sam Mayer in the same equipment. I think I'm vindicated that Sheldon Creed, fine driver. There's some talent there, no doubt. He's a wheelman. I love seeing him do off-road stuff, but he's not a top. He's never going to be a legit Cup Series contender. Let's stop the narrative that Sheldon Creed is a top prospect. He's not. I was right. That's all I wanted to say. Now he's going to go win this weekend at Chicago and go on a deep playoff run and make me look foolish. But
how much more time do we give him to actually win a race in this series? Because at this point, I don't think we're promoting him to Cup at all. At this point, should he even be considering trying to go back to trucks of like Spire, which is similar to the GMS equipment he had when he was doing good there?
I mean, I feel like if he's going to move anywhere, we'll talk about it a little later. It's probably to like the bought out Ware Racing or something. When they expand, they just need to have have a Jag there, just a guy, because that's what he's really going to be. If he's a Cup guy, he's just going to be a guy. He's going to, in Kyle Busch's words, he's going to be a warm body in a seat, right?
Damn.
Like, well, he hasn't won.
I thought I was harsh.
But a lot of people were bringing this up, and like I picked him. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna take a chance at him. And even before he got wrecked out, like he was mediocre. And a lot of people in the chat like brought up the great points. Like the guy has had great equipment.
He's been
his
with
entire
Gear.
career.
He's been with RCR. He's with Haas.
He just hasn't found his way to junior motorsports, and maybe that's the ticket.
But how much money you got? Like it's just. And I see him on this. He should not be on this graphic for like how he's performed before, the equipment he's in.
He's
Like,
behind a rookie and Jeb Burton.
We know
he's tied with Sieg.
Even though there's no more Tony Stewart alliance here, we know that equipment was still good last year. There shouldn't be that big of a fall off just because of the ownership changing, at least in that series.
I'm sorry, he should not be 1 point better this year than Harrison Burton.
Hey, that is a Cup Series winner, Harrison Burton. Put some respect on his name.
True.
Sorry.
But he is also driving a car that won the championship just 2 years ago.
Yeah. I
Jesus.
I want to
I
see Sheldon
totally forgot
Creed
that.
do well because he has put on a show. Darlington last fall, that was his time. That was his chance. Ran a phenomenal race, beat a lot of Cup guys until the very end. But damn, it's I'm exhausted at this point.
Even
Asking,
so.
is this the week?
Even so, is like, if are you really for real for the Cup Series if you struggled this long in top equipment to win in the Xfinity Series? Like,
That's
I
what
get there's
mean,
the difference of cars and all. Maybe that's going to be the great, equalizer for him. But yeah,
He's
I would not
27
be-
years old, so I wouldn't
he's
be just
surprised.
a guy. Fine
wouldn't
driver,
be-
nothing special.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Sieg or Harrison Burton outpoints him. Like,
That'd be crazy.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. And he's had bad luck, and I get that. But that team isn't like, I don't know if it's a team. If it's like, because Haas, I feel like has kind of fallen a little bit as the years went on.
Points. He's winless, but Sam Mayer is second in points. Granted, he's 60 points behind Allgaier, but he is second, ahead of Hill, ahead of Love, ahead of Zilich, ahead of Quapple.
Again, I will also argue. Well, one, I mean, Zilich was out with an injury for a race. Also, this is not a strong Xfinity field.
That is true.
This is
I will agree
weak
with you there.
compared to. I would argue compared to the last 5 years, this is the weakest Xfinity field. I will say this now, hot take if you will. This is the weakest Xfinity field of the decade so far.
Oh, I think
we
you
are
might be
6
right.
years in. We are 6 years in.
I'm glad somebody said it. No, this might be the weakest Xfinity field ever. Considering that there used to be Cup guys. Yeah, there used to be Cup guys running almost every race. This might be the worst. There's just so many. There's a lot of guys in this field like Zilich, like Love, like Sanchez, who may go on to be great, but they're all so young, so raw right now. We're getting this is such an inexperienced field. So many rookies in top rides. You're right. I think you're right, Jerry. You've opened my eyes to how chaotic this Xfinity season could be.
Listen to this crazy stat. In the Xfinity Series standings, William Sawalich driving the 18, probably the most legendary number that they have in the Xfinity Series, is below Eric Almirola in points, who has started in only 7 races.
Oh my God.
Guess who's last in points among full-time drivers?
Oh God.
Oh gosh.
Just tell me.
I'm looking at it. It's Chris Wright.
Chris Wright.
I'm shocked. Yeah, totally shocked.
Granted, he has.
Oh no, I forgot we had that.
Granted, he has the win. He does good when he hops in, but still, the fact that Eric Almirola has ran 10 less races than the 18 and is 20 points higher is insane.
Crazy.
Think Daniel Suarez could run better?
That's what I'm saying.
Heck yeah.
if they get Suarez in a junior motorsports, put him back in the 19 full time, that's your champion. I
mean, for real, the 19 has just become the part-time entry, anyways. If we're just call up the people from Juniper and say, "Hey, you wanna hop back on with him? Let's run it back."
I think Ryan Truex could outrun the 18 right now.
Oh, sure.
But actually, how many races has Ryan Truex ran this year?
Let me see where he's at here in these points. He's run a couple, right? Or maybe I'm not. Maybe he hasn't run any yet.
I think he's only hasn't even ran for JGR. He's ran for Sam Hunt.
He did that. He ran the Cup race for Hamlin. Is maybe what I'm thinking of.
He ran one race.
He's run one race for Sam Hunt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
surely he's going to run Dover. That's like his bread and butter track.
Oh, they'd be foolish not to put him in there.
You'd think, but I thought going into this year he'd have more races. He'd shown last year he was a competitive driver. He deserves that shot, even if it's just as an Xfinity lifer. Yeah. Why not? It's literally money, right? Yeah. It's all money. We all know it. This is the NASCAR Daddy's Money series right now in a lot of ways. And we're paying for it. I mean, what was it? Kevin Harvick, I think it was. It's like that a monkey could drive that 18 car to victory lane.
Damn.
We're
de-evolving. Is what it sounds like?
It really does. It's like the poster for Idiocracy. Yeah. Like it's just I can't. I lived through those years watching those races, the nationwide series races, where I knew I was going to turn it on and see every week it was going to be Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Joey Logano, or Brad Keselowski. One of
or Denny Hamlin, whoever is in the 18.
Like this. It doesn't make sense in my brain. I have been on this earth for over 27 years, and I found it like it's not the meaning of life that's the question that's blowing my mind beyond smithereens. It is, how is the 18 car this freaking bad?
Like, I will say this, I don't know if he's the worst driver to ever hop in the 18, because Drew Dollar did happen, but Drew Dollar got the internet bullied Drew Dollar into going to college, basically, instead of racing. That's what happened.
Oh my God.
William Sawalich at least only has
Danny here, like the sniper.
Has he graduated high school yet?
Well, I was gonna say only. He has six. He has 6 DNS. So
you're like the sniper from Saving Private Ryan right now, Danny. Damn, you just like bam, got him.
Still, I'm like, William Sawalich has he's had 6 DNS, but like he's not doing great. But I also don't feel like I'm seeing him constantly crashing equipment either. But
dude, that might be your quote of the year, man.
Well, last I knew, I think he went to college after racing. So
hey, that's good. We believe in higher education here on NWP.
I went to college. There's no shame in it, but still.
I didn't say there was shame in it. I'm just, I guess it was implied, but fuck, man.
Danny made it sound like he was in jail. Hey, why are you here? I failed at race car driving.
And there you go for all y'all that say we don't talk about the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, that was
show.
A 20-minute.
This is what happens when we try to talk about the Xfinity Series. We dunk on drivers who have been gone for a few years.
We just called it the least competitive it's ever been.
It is.
It'd be more competitive if Drew Dollar still raced.
We're really.
I mean, it's still more competitive than the truck race was.
Oh, for sure.
Hey, but credit to Limerock. That looked like a very beautiful track. It reminded me a lot of Road America.
I was going to say almost the exact same thing. So I'll give them credit for the at-track atmosphere and experience. I had a few people in my comments who went and said it was a really nice time, reminded them of Road America from what they had seen. So, yes, I'll agree with you there. Race was cheeks. Corey Heim dominated. Jordan Taylor got, once again, the full NASCAR experience where he qualified good, ran pretty good, and then got used up on restarts. It's exactly what happened at COTA a couple of years ago. I felt bad for him. But what stood out to me, though, was Lane Riggs, once again, even on a road course, was the only guy even remotely in Corey Heim's zip code. When we talk big picture playoffs, championship, like Riggs from last year to this year has taken a pretty huge leap. We saw some flashes in the second half of last year, but remember, Lane missed the playoffs last season. This year, not only is he in the playoffs, he looks like he could be a championship 4 guy, maybe even a championship contender the way the format works out. But yeah, it was a it was the kind of race you put on in the background while you get weekend chores done.
Well,
Well,
literally, that's what I was doing.
The
Yes.
thing is, it was one restart away from being a perfect race for Corey Heim.
And that
One lap.
I heard Gluck kind of ranted about this a little bit, and rules are rules. I've accepted the outcome, but I get that, like, the frustration with, we could have seen history, a perfect race. One guy leads every lap, but because of a weird sort of, how they got through the restart zone on one restart, and because we lined second place up next to the leader, even if the leader had a 10-second lead, because of that weird NASCARism, Lane Riggs got a lap led over Heim, and it's not a perfect race. So I'm with Gluck and others in that it's kind of frustrating that we were robbed of at least a historic stat line.
What did happen to Riggs at the end? Because he
overcooked it. Yeah, it looked like he just missed it.
Because I was busy doing some stuff at the time, and I was like, wait, where'd he go? Because that was my pick. Because I was like wondering what happened to him. So,
yeah,
I will say my pick to win the truck race was Thomas Annunziata. He was top 10 all day. Want to give him a shout out. I know a lot of people were like, huh? Who? He did go on to win the ARCA race after the truck race.
And
so I wasn't too crazy far off.
He had a good finish, though, in a truck race, I think.
I don't remember where he finished, but I know he was in the top 10 for a while.
No, he was 10th. Hold on.
Oh, good. Okay.
No, he might have been worse. I had one of the.
There was a huge, a bunch of guys spun on the last restart, and I think he might have got a piece of that.
I'm gonna find out where he
was
finished.
10, and then he fell down to 15th.
Damn.
Okay.
But I mean, he was solid he was in top 10 most of the day. So I posited this on my post race shows. I think if you just flip Xfinity and trucks this week, it's a much more enjoyable weekend overall, racing wise. I think the Xfinity guys would have put on a better show than the truck guys did. Definitely more competitive. I think the trucks race better than Xfinity cars do at Atlanta.
100%.
I would switch those two. I think Limerock has earned the right to get an Xfinity race just from the push that they had. And the fan experience, all of that. Like, there's no grandstands there. Like, it was just it is a straight up road course, and I liked it. I would love to see what the Xfinity guys could do at this track, especially since they're not racing at some of the other road courses they used to race at.
Side note, back to the truck series real quick. Corey Heim winning. It's now his 5th win of the year out of 15 races we have ran. So he has literally won 1/3 of the schedule so far. The only month he did not win in was the month of April, but we only had 2 truck races in April. He made up for it by winning 2 in May. So he's averaging 1 truck win a month right now.
Well, and he'll have 1 shot coming up at Indianapolis in a month.
I think he'd be the favorite to win that one.
He should be. I mean, he really should be. I mean, I'm looking through too some of these races. I mean, he should have won Homestead. Like, he very much should have won Homestead.
He should have won
Martinsville. He was leading when he got a tie. He got a cut tire from Honeycutt.
He was the only one better than Hocevar at Kansas before issues, and he still came up, finished like 3rd, I think, in that race.
Oh, he should have won Wilkesboro.
Yes, he should have. Definitely should have.
Certainly dominated. Yeah.
Was he good at Rockingham? I don't remember.
This thing is like so many of these races. No, that was the one that came to fuel mileage at the end, and he had led a ton of that race too.
Yep.
And then I'm looking at he should probably have 8 to 10 wins so far. And then Eric, you made a prediction of him leading 1,000 laps this year, and I was like, that's bold. Like, that is freaking bold.
At the time, he was on pace to do it, but I think we all were like, oh, is he going to sustain this pace? He has. He is at 988 laps led.
986.
He'll probably reach that by the time we get done with Indianapolis.
By the time the show is over.
Do you guys have the list up or not? If you do, don't answer. But do you have the list up of laps led for trucks?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so Danny, I want to ask you.
Okay.
Who do you think is second, and how many laps behind Heim are they this year?
I would guess Lane Riggs is second.
Lane Riggs. Well, Danny, that is I can't find the wrong sounder. So there it is. Danny, that is wrong. It's not Lane Riggs, it is Raja Karuth.
Okay. Well, I will guess that Raja I don't have the exact number here, but approximately 700 to 800 laps behind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
right.
he's about 800 laps behind. I mean, it's insanity, and I can't wait since he always struggles for some reason at Phoenix for Corey Heim to finish 4th in points this year.
He's consistent.
He's not consistent. He is belt to ass. and until the last race, he is the greatest a race until Martinsville driver in truck history.
If ThorSport can just sneak one truck in there, they'll somehow win a championship.
So the other part with the Heim stuff, now is the time where everyone calls us Heim Glazers. I wanted to pull it up real quick. The truck all-time wins list, right? And he's probably going to be full-time in trucks next year based on the sound of it, unless he has a good Xfinity ride, which, hey, you know what? The 18 needs a good driver, or maybe Safe Light can throw a few bucks at it.
I guess that's no.
So he is 10th all-time. He beat his tie with Matt Crafton. He has passed Matt Crafton in truck wins, who has had a streak of races that has gone so long that, if I'm not mistaken, Dale Earnhardt was still alive on this earth when it started. For consecutive starts for Matt Crafton.
Matt Crafton
Jesus Christ.
He is literally twice as old as Corey Heim, twice the age. I think he's more than twice the age of Heim.
So I'm going to list off these drivers. Do you think Corey Heim will pass them in wins? Let's have fun with it. All right. So Corey Heim is 16. Keep that in mind. Greg Biffle and Ted Musgrave, 17 wins.
Yeah. He'll get them in about a month.
Dennis Setzer at 18.
Yes.
2 months.
Todd Bodine at 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if he's there next year.
Yeah, I'm
Johnny
thinking
Sauter. Johnny Sauter at 24.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Jack Sprague and Mike Skinner at 28.
Okay, now it's going to be interesting. Now he's got to have a good year this year. He's got to be good next year. But I think he will. I think if he runs full-time next year, he will.
And then
I'm going to say yes, because he might still jump in some races part-time.
And I don't think he's going to beat Kyle Busch's 67 or Ron Hornaday's 51.
I hope he doesn't beat either of those records.
No reason. Well, I mean, there should be no reason Kyle Busch should have that many in the first place, but he does.
So you guys made a legitimate argument that by the time he gets out of this series, he will be top 5, possibly top 3 all-time in truck wins. And I think he's going to continue the pace he's going on personally, even if the truck field gets more, competitive and all. Like, I could totally see him winning 5 more races this year, which would put him at 21, right behind Todd Bodine, and then winning like 8 races the next year and having 29. Yeah, he could probably reach 30, in all honesty. And so I said it after the race, and people are saying, maybe I'm pushing it too quick, but I think Corey Heim has a real conversation, especially since he's probably racing next year, going to win a lot, for being on the Mount Rushmore of truck series drivers all time. He's defined an era, in my opinion.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, especially if he continues to win at the rate he has won so far into next year, I would agree. He absolutely has. It's crazy. It's wild to think of a Mount Rushmore with Mike Skinner, Ron Hornaday, their grizzled faces, Kyle Busch, and then you have 20-year-old Corey Heim.
He's 22 years old. I know we're all like, he needs to get the cup. He needs to get the cup. He's actually theoretically he's fine. He's just 22.
Yeah.
Well, and so I would say Kyle Busch, Ron Hornaday, those are the locks. But then it's a real conversation of Skinner, Sprague, Sauter, Bodine, and I would say at this point, with projecting out, I think Heim enters that conversation.
I know championships are different now, but I think he's got to win a championship to sure be on that Mount Rushmore. Even though it's different, we know there's Hocevar took him out of the first one. Like there's asterisk, whatever you want to say. He's got to win one. He has to have one on his resume.
Yeah, or else he's gonna live up to that number 11, be Denny Hamlin of trucks.
I'd say it's fair. I think it's a very good argument too, and I tend to agree. Which I just realized we have not even talked about this part yet.
We can glance at it. Yeah, the crazy thing is ThorSport right now has 1 truck in playoffs, and they're 10th. Ty Majeski. I don't know what's going on there, but rough.
I think that team is just on a downward slope, and if they don't at least call the people at Ram, I'm shocked.
You're like, I'll forward their information to them.
Well, and just 3 races to go. And I believe it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's IRP. Is it, and then Richmond, one of them. What's the other one? Is it Watkins Glen?
I'm trying to pull it up, but it's taking forever.
The rest of the truck schedule is IRP, Watkins Glen, Richmond, Darlington, Bristol, and New Hampshire is the cutoff race.
No. There's 3 races left, Danny. The Richmond's the cutoff.
That's the cutoff. Yeah. So it's.
Oh wait, sorry, I'm bypassing, and okay.
That's the first round. So we got 2 short tracks and a road course. I'm not gonna lie, I could totally see Corey Heim winning all 3.
Oh, he's going to lead the most laps in all 3. That part, I could almost make
Yeah.
that a prediction tonight.
I think that's
a hint.
This is your field. I don't see point. And if another winner happens, neither of those top 2 are getting out. Like I think we're pretty much set. I think it's going to be one of the most boring points battles unless Majeski has just a catastrophic fall.
If
The only one I'll throw out there is
another one-
Connor Mozak has been a decent road racer.
Yeah.
He could shock the world at Watkins Glen. That's the one upset I might be looking at.
I feel like if we see a random winner in trucks, it's going to be Watkins Glen, but it could be like a part-time ringer who just shows up. Like, what if SVG gets a truck ride or something like that?
Oh, we just we crossed the threshold, by the way, for those listening later on or live right now. We are now cooler in the garage than the outside temperature. 85 compared to 86.
Hang the banner, Jarrett.
You like that? I haven't actually said that tonight. Danny's been the one saying it.
You don't have to say it anymore because I know when you're thinking it.
It's in your eyes.
I should make that shirt soon though. Somebody made a good design and I think I'm going to roll with it. Maybe in a different design, but the wording, it said finish 27th, didn't wreck, hang the banner. And I'm like, okay, we might be making that shirt pretty soon here.
Yeah.
Man, that was a weekend, man.
Yeah, good weekend of racing. All 3 series had a show this weekend, and I guess we can take 3 minutes to talk about the super chats. You guys have been pretty generous so far tonight. Appreciate everyone's support. But yeah, we'll get started here at the top. And Jarrett, if you'll time me.
Gotcha.
Urban Alvarado's starting us off. $9.99. Appreciate that, Urban. Bracket destroyed. Well, NASCAR, you just experienced every normal sports fan in America feels when March Madness and college basketball feels when upsets happen. Welcome to pain. Cue salt mine scream. Dylan, appreciate the $4.99 from you. Being an RFK fan is fun, but so frustrating. Yeah, I can understand it. It's probably great there for a little bit when Chris Buescher was winning all those races a couple years ago.
This is fun. We're having fun.
Okay. Hunter Nixon Fishing, always good to see you. Appreciate it. $9.99. Talk about his home track. I've defended the new Atlanta for years now. It reminds me of old school Daytona. I've been to 3 of the last 4 Atlanta races. Some of the best racing I've seen in person. I agree. I haven't gone to the summer race, but I went in 22 and in 23 to the spring race, and it's a great show to see in person. Alex Luck, appreciate the $10 from you. Happy 88th birthday to King Richard Petty. I remember having a tip of the hat exchange of him at the 2023 Darlington Throwback race. Same race you guys sponsored BJ McLeod. Also met you guys. That's awesome. I don't remember if I saw Richard Petty there that weekend. Did you guys see him?
I've seen him many times before. He's hard to miss.
That was the top 75 stage, right?
Oh yeah.
It would have been that same weekend, yeah.
Alex left again with a very generous $50. Really appreciate that, Alex. You guys don't have to ever support us like that, but the fact that you guys do, it's insane. We never take that for granted. Thank you very much. He said, I think NASCAR knew what they were doing when they made that tournament. They were hoping for the big crash so everyone's bracket fails and they wouldn't have to pay $1 million. Insert the Drew McIntyre. I prayed for this and it happened meme here. The wrestling fans will get that.
By the way, we're going in the last minute here.
All right.
Minute.
Roman numerals 3, just I appreciate the $5 from you. Eric been huffing the Cinnamon Toast Crunch candle too hard with his Ty Gibbs ranking. Also, if not covered in the lightning round, High Limit Racing will be going to FS1.
Yeah, they have
Oh,
an
yeah, that's
FS1
right.
race coming up. Yeah, did you guys see? I have had this for like years. I forgot I had it on my shelf in the corner. I have a cinnamon toast crunch scented candle. I bought at Target. Smells just like cinnamon
Yeah.
toast crunch, and so I pulled it out for my video because I was like, Chris Buescher in the cinnamon toast crunch car.
I had to make
Buddy.
it my thumbnail for my post race too.
It's a good looking car, and I had a good prop for some prop comedy.
What pulls it all together is the spoiler. Eat my Cinedust.
It's great. I bought the
Yep.
T-shirt. Hopefully, it gets here soon. I need to wear that. 4th of July would rock that.
And we're at the 3 minutes, so probably 1 or 2 more here.
Yeah, let's finish up with a couple other ones here. Napa Racing Fan 927, appreciated $2 from you. Crank up the Siren, Rutledge. That's where we abandoned him. He's still there.
he actually got freed from the Dawsonville gulag because of Chase Elliott winning.
They never let him win. They never let him leave because they said Chase was going to win that night. It never happened. Or was that the one where he won? I don't remember anymore. Alex, appreciate the $2 from you. Reddick fumbled at 2 to go when he stayed in line.
Yeah, he ended up 4th, I think, but had a good car. Even Superman needs backup sometimes.
Oh boy! I'll end on this one from Justin Drake. It's pretty unhinged. Appreciate a $9.99 from you, Bowman. Okay, I'll bend over for you again, Chase. Ain't the first time, not by a long shot.
Jeez.
Long shot wasn't the only shot, apparently.
Actually, let me end on this one because it'll be brought back up a little bit later on. Stephen Gibson, appreciated $10 from you. Suarez will get the 10 car at Colleague in 26. Dylan earned a spot too, but in the Xfinity 16 car. Josh Williams has been bad and only got the ride because of him parking the car at EchoPark.
Hey, that's why it's, oh my gosh, EchoPark. He parked it on the front. That's where they had the idea.
The Illuminati is talking to us.
So, and all of a sudden, I heard the echoes of the fans after he parked it.
Wow.
In the Twilight Zone.
We've put the puzzle pieces together, gentlemen, and it's gotten us nowhere.
Correct. But it has gotten us where I'm starting to hear some rumbles in the distance.
Thunder.
It's the lightning round.
Woo! Yeah, it is the lightning round. Some stuff coming up this week. Of course, we have the re-upload channel that we put everything up on after we're live. So if you ever miss it, there's that there. Chris Gabehart will be on the pit box with the 54 to help Ty Gibbs perform better. And Jerry Bruckheimer has confirmed Days of Thunder 2 is happening in the works to entertainment tonight. If you don't know, he's the one that's going to be producing it. So very good.
He's produced a lot of big hits, including obviously the F1 movie, my favorite trilogy of all time, the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. Big Jerry fan over here.
Did he do Castaway?
He might have. That would have been earlier. I'll look it up.
I love Castaway. I got Wilson at home. Wilson's, I believe, sitting on my TV stand at home. Also, NASCAR Heat servers will be going offline permanently on August 1st. You can still do single player mode, but nothing multiplayer online, nothing like that after August 1st due to the new licensing with iRacing, though there is a lot of movement coming up. They talked about that. And there's some stuff we should be seeing towards the end of August, maybe some stuff throughout the month. I don't know. But a lot of stuff coming with the gaming side.
I'm on the IMDb for Castaway, and they legit have as one of the cast Wilson the volleyball as Wilson the volleyball uncredited is actually listed on the official IMDb page for Castaway.
That is funny.
Well, so there was, I think it was SNL. It was where they're like interviewing Wilson because he was a big deal after the movie came out. And all of a sudden, you just see somebody behind come up and pick him up, and it's Tom Hanks picks him up and takes him off stage with him. Oh man, we stand Wilson.
I always said that movie, while it did have a good ending with him meeting this random lady that he delivered a package to, it should have ended with again those two walking on the beach with the dog that she had, and the dog like finds the volleyball washed up on the beach.
Oh, God. Well, he still had a backup Wilson and all that. Funniest seeing that movie because I love Castaway's like in my top 10,
Yeah.
maybe top 5 movies. I
Solid.
love that movie. When he gets back and the food that they give him is a giant seafood platter. Like the guy hasn't been eating that for the last 3 years.
Yep.
We should talk about Castaway to slap because the only thing he'll focus on is that the FedEx plane was the one that crashed, not UPS. Which, if you've worked at an airport with UPS and FedEx, both at an airport, you'll hear the horror stories if you work at one or the other. I worked at UPS, and the stuff we heard about the propaganda, the anti-FedEx propaganda at UPS was so entertaining. I probably can't say half of it on here. What's that sound? I hear something like jingling.
I'm giving the chat a fun Tom Hanks inspired poll. Favorite Tom Hanks movie of these. Number 1, we have Castaway. Number 2, we're going to have Saving Private Ryan. After that, we will have Forrest Gump, of course.
Yeah, he's been
and I could say The Green Mile, but I'm not going to say The Green Mile. I'm going to give.
It's amazing.
I'm going to give a very underrated one. The Terminal or The Terminal Man. I don't remember which one it is. I'm just going to call it The Terminal. That's one of my favorites. I'm going to give them a good poll and see what is their favorite of those 4 options.
You could honestly, Green Mile is my personal favorite of his, but I'll put Castaway.
And then there's Toy Story. Like
Toy Story. There's
Philadelphia.
If there's ever like a greatest actor of the modern century, Tom's got to be up there.
I mean,
Apollo 13,
Sully.
Oh my gosh.
He has a hell of a catalog. Like at some point, because I love collecting DVDs, because I just like having the physical media, I need to get like the entire Tom Hanks collection. Of course, Toy Stories, all those. Yeah. The Captain Phillips. I am the Captain. No.
Yep. Polar Express.
Polar
Express creeps me out. It's the
That's
Uncanny
fair.
Valley.
I don't know how we became the Tom Hanks Weekly Podcast, but let's rein it in.
Yeah, we should rein it in. And we'll rein it in all the way to talking about next week. Next Thursday, July 10th, will be on Eric's channel.
Yes,
all 3 of us had scheduling conflicts on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sorry,
folks.
So I will go ahead and say I will not be on at all next week. I am going with my church on a mission trip to Jamaica. So I will be there next week and could not even begin to trust the Wi-Fi down there.
I think
fair enough.
This is the first time in 8 years the 3 of us have all not been able to make a Wednesday work. It's always one of us or 2 of us, but never all 3 of us.
If for some reason we're in the hotel and I'm like, let me just try. I might try to hop into my phone, but I doubt it'll be good. I might disappear.
Hey, man, it's been 4 days in Jamaica, man. It's Danny Ballbuster Talks.
Look, I've got this redneck twang. A few days in Jamaica, I ain't going to change that.
Hey, man, it's in Jamaican. I don't know how to combine the 2.
Yeah, that's good luck.
Howdy, y'all, man.
Howdy, old man. It sounds like me, the Grim Reaper.
And now it sounds Italian. Very stereotypical.
Oh man! All right,
but yeah, I'll be in Jamaica, being good at the church. I don't know if Eric's allowed to say what he's got going on.
I already forgot. What the fuck? What am I doing Wednesday night? I totally forgot. Let me check my calendar.
That was the lightning round.
I had a good reason why I couldn't make Wednesday. Oh yeah, that's right. I'll be in North Carolina doing something kind of fun that I'll share with y'all eventually.
Eventually,
I just realized, better make sure I don't miss my flight.
Well, I mean, I guess we can move on since I ended prematurely with the lightning round.
Let's talk about who is going to buy Rick Ware Racing's NASCAR operations.
Before we talk about that, how the hell do you pronounce his last name?
I'm going to say Poocher.
I've heard Pusher, but and you know how I learned that? So when this news broke, I'm like, okay, I need to learn how to say this guy's name because obviously he's now an important figure, TJ Pusher. I went onto YouTube. I found an ice bucket challenge video from, I think it was like H. Scott Motorsports from like 12 years ago on YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
And I can't remember who it was now. I can't remember who it was who was doing the ice bucket challenge, but they said, it was a team member, crew member. They said, I nominate Jeff Dickerson, some other name that's Tommy Baldwin, and TJ Pusher. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to take this guy. He obviously works with him. He knows him. I'm going to say he knows how he's pronouncing it. So that's why I've been pronouncing it Pusher, but I have not gotten confirmation. That's how I do my research for my show. I dig through the archives of YouTube to find old artifacts.
It could be pronounced TJ Pucker even.
Dude, I can't wait for my next time I do a random driver segment. I'm like, this random driver was at this part of the track during Jimmy Johnson's Harlem Shake.
That
was my favorite trend. I love the Harlem Shake. It was so just quick, easy, stupid, fun.
Yeah,
fair enough.
It was just clean.
Good, clean.
Very, very cringe now, but it was clean then.
Yeah, I get people say it's cringe. I thought it was fun.
Looking back, it's a little cringe.
Yeah, that's what I would want brought back.
Like the Ice Bucket Challenge is also cringe to look back on, but it was also a good purpose, good clean fun.
The one that's going to be cringe to look back on now is all the people that got charges for like setting off fireworks and bringing chickens to the theater for Minecraft.
Okay, that's just stupid.
Yeah, that one. I maybe I'm old. I didn't quite get that. I didn't get the humor there.
Well, I don't even get what chicken jockey is.
We have not seeped and bathed in the brain rot the way that so many have.
I'm not a fan of wreaking havoc on minimum wage workers day to day.
Danny, was it
responsibilities?
Was it you that sent me the meme, or did I put it in our meme chat where it's like, guys, Steve wouldn't want this. You know what Steve would want? To kill that minimum wage worker, and they like go after him. God, we're unhinged tonight.
I don't remember which one of us sent that.
I think it was me because I saw. Yeah,
that's more your comedy. Yeah. My thing here lately has been the things where it starts off as a girl and it's like, wow, it's like I love trains, and trains are everywhere.
Oh yeah, they do that with dinosaurs. I got Danny. You're delving into specific brain rots. I need to get you on Smiling Friends like the entire show. It's
I've tried to do it. You've showed it a million times. I just don't appreciate it the way you guys do.
Well, we might be able to appreciate Ware Racing one day, maybe.
TJ Pusher has acquired both of their charters. Says he wants to make it a 3-car team in the coming years. Says he wants to make them into a contender. I mean, remember, they're leasing one of their charters to RFK. There's the lawsuit with Legacy trying to acquire it. But this TJ Pusher character who comes from Spire, he sold his stake in Spire last year, seems to believe that Rick Ware will retain control of both their charters and will build towards the future. Cody Ware will be in the car the rest of this season, and according to Tommy Baldwin on Door Bumper Clear, and next season. So no change there. Yeah, I don't. My read on this is more of a business deal than anything. I don't really buy any of the we're going to be more competitive nonsense. I mean, they've committed to Cody Ware for 18 more months, and looking at TJ's history, he was part of Spire when Spire was more about flipping charters than they were about actually, contending on the racetrack. It was once, large ownership groups bought in that Spire got more competitive. Well, how do you think those ownership groups bought in? They bought out TJ Pusher. So he's never been a part of a contending. Well, I shouldn't say never, because I don't know his long history. Maybe 20 years ago he was, but in the last 10 years, he has not been part of a competitive Cup Series organization. So to me, this just feels like under new management until a billionaire or a massive ownership conglomerate comes in and buys the charter for themselves.
Yeah, it's kind of how I'm going with this. I mean, the fact it's rumored that he spent $100 million on it, or like the group did or whatever. And, the fact they want to they literally have talked about like pumping up the value of the charter and then talking about how it needs to be higher. And it's like,
yeah,
I feel like that's a thinly veiled, like, hey guys, just saying, you get the right price, we're for sale.
Yep. It's so interesting. Like, none of these teams open their books ever, except for the few now that are being forced to by the courts in the whole antitrust case. But like, they don't open their books. So it's like, you can say this piece of paper is worth whatever you want, but like, how true is that really?
Mr. Belfort, sell me a pen.
It's exactly. That's what this has become. And the charters obviously have some value. They do. They absolutely do. It's a place on the grid in the largest motorsport series in America. There's value there, no doubt. But when he throws around like, oh, I think these charters are worth $75 million or more. Says who? What? Like, where? Show me the evidence there. Maybe they are.
You know,
Perhaps they are, but like, he's a salesman. He's a salesman.
It feels like when Ram announced and they're like, NASCAR has 20 million fans. We're going to get to 75 million. It's like,
just throwing numbers out there. Side note, did we talk about this on the show? Did we talk about how the Ram CEO like a week ago said publicly he didn't know charters were a thing? Did we talk about that on the show?
No, we didn't.
We should have, because when I read that quote, I rolled my eyes and went, "Oh my gosh!"
It probably looks like I rolled my eyes. The iceberg fly is back behind the camera for those long-term viewers that y'all know what I'm talking about. But now, really, like, are they just okay? So everyone that kind of on the Ram point, everyone that I talk to that has any know-how of Stellantis, Ram, Dodge, you name it, has said, like, there's no way it could work because they don't have the money to, and that would be a really idiotic decision. And I rebutted, like, we've seen idiotic decisions business-wise be made before. Like, are these guys, did they just, like, fucking, get a little bump and say, let's go to NASCAR, man. What's charter?
I have the quote, by the way, and I know we're way off topic, but that's the story of tonight's show. He said, this was on Fox apparently a couple weeks ago, the Ram CEO, who I think now is like the head of Stellantis's like marketing push, there was an announcement. He said, quote, we got really far down the path of going cup racing and really deep into how we're going to do this. And that came up, and it's, what's a charter? How's that working? Wow, that was a wake-up call. So that's making us slow down a little bit and figure out exactly how we're going to do that.
I saw that
CEO 2 weeks ago.
So I'm not gonna lie, I saw that from an aggregated article. I thought it was a parody.
Yeah, he didn't know that they didn't know that charters were a thing.
It's giving me vibes of what the hell is a kilometer?
What the hell is a kilometer?
Thank you. This was
charter.
It was on Harvick. The tweet I'm reading is not. This was from Harvick's Happy Hour on Fox. That's where he said it. That's crazy. That's
see this thing. I don't watch.
I'm excited that Ram and Dodge are trying to come back, but like that doesn't exactly instill confidence.
please tell me like Kevin Harvick like broke out laughing, right? Like
I need to find the clip now.
Anyway. But that's like it feels like it's the same vein of like, we're just in this to make a quick buck really quick. We're gonna throw out random shit, and whatever sticks on the wall, we're rolling with it, baby.
Yeah,
like that.
I hope it works out. I hope they're serious. But anyway,
I know Cody Ware has a spot there for now, but you know what? Just a few short years ago, Spire Motorsports, Corey LaJoie was their best driver. They had guys going in and out of the 77. Landon Castle drove for him for a little bit. Ty Dillon was a full-time driver. So I'm not going to look into that too much. This is just a starting point to a new group.
Yeah, maybe other people will come in, join the team, and they'll will start to invest in it and make it a bigger thing. It's possible down the line. I just don't see that happening in the next year or two. I think they're going to be kind of stagnant for a while.
But hey, to Cody Ware's credit, he gets a commercial with Arby's.
Good for him. He did.
I just
hang the banner. And the meats, because Arby's got it.
I don't want to hang the meats, but yes, the banner will be hung. Where was I going? Danny B. Ballbuster here is derailing me. The thing with the purchase, like $100 million rumored. Like, there's nothing out there, and we probably will never get the actual number. But if that is the case, like, how much of a say does Rick Ware really have after that? Like, is Rick Ware Racing really valued at the point that $100 million did not get you full ownership? Like, even if it's 99 to 1%, like, how much real say does he have? So why would you really keep Cody Ware there outside of like, oh, I guess we'll keep him in there for you, buddy. You've been a good sport with this. That's part of the deal. Like, that's all I can think.
Some have theorized, and I don't know that I buy this, but some have theorized that this purchase was kind of, I don't want to know what the right term, like what the slang term would be, but this really was just the purchase was solely to somehow weasel their way out of this legacy lawsuit. Like, because Legacy's deal was with Rick Ware, well, now Rick Ware Racing doesn't exist. That's TJ Pusher's. I don't know how that would hold up in court. I don't know the details, but I've heard some theorize that maybe this is just sort of a way to get out of that situation. Could be way off base there. Maybe they truly have a plan to build this business, to get more competitive, maybe to sell the charters in a few years to the highest bidder. I don't know. But I guess I'm just kind of skeptical in the short term. I feel like it's going to be business as usual, just with a slightly different name.
It's just how they've talked and acted about it to me.
Mhm.
That's where I'm like, I can't take it serious right now because they don't come in and they don't sound like a serious team to me at this point. Like it sounds like you said, just flip it. That's what it sounds like.
Who is a serious team, though? The team who had to make a very, very hard decision this week. And that's Trackhouse Racing, announcing that they are moving on from Daniel Suarez after this season.
I don't think it was that hard of a decision, in all honesty.
It's hard. It's hard to extent that was their very first driver.
Let's say business-wise, sure. It probably wasn't that hard. I get maybe personally, sure it was, but like Daniel Suarez, yeah, he's there as like that monumental piece of the organization.
They're not buying a fourth charter just for Daniel Suarez to stay.
Well, they can't. I mean, they can't have him with the new agreement, but like,
oh, you're right. Sorry. Sorry about that.
He's the thing with Daniel Suarez. I looked back at his results, and he's run the same outside of Gaunt Brothers. He ran worse there because no one was going to make that team good. But like Joe Gibbs Racing, Stuart Haas Racing, Trackhouse, he's ran the same at all of them. So it's like this is peak Daniel Suarez is getting maybe 12 top 10s in a year, and he'll maybe like sneak a win if the stars align. Whereas the upside of Connor Zilic, who we're all kind of assuming is going to be the guy put into that car, is like he could be, and tell me if you haven't heard this one before, the next Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I think the writing was on the wall for Suarez really going back about a year ago when they signed a 1-year extension. Like that to me told me, okay, the team does not have that much confidence in you anymore. Zilic is evolving, is progressing. He's won 2 races this year, including one on an oval with Dale Jr. on the box. Like he's, I think we talked about this on the show last week. An extra year in Xfinity wouldn't do him any harm, but I also think he's ready at this point to start learning the next gen and just getting that repetition, getting that experience. I think he'll struggle most likely outside of the road courses, but I think he's mature enough to handle that responsibility. So as high as his ceiling is, yes, it's cliche. He could be as good as a Kyle Larson one day. You want to get that guy experience as soon as possible because I think Suarez has hit his ceiling. To your point, he's done the same everywhere.
There's also the unfortunate reality of what Dirty Diff says. Zilic could be the next Ty Gibbs. We could be hyping it up now, and it could take him a while.
But on the Suarez,
it could.
I'll say on the Suarez front, like one of the things I was thinking about this when it happened, like, oh, this is probably meaning it's a rough ride right now with Trackhouse Suarez relationship. Complaining about and then having your wife bitch about your team to Netflix over and over again probably is not going to make some owner go, that's the guy I want. I want to hear just like an NFL player who's like I remember Adam Thielen for the Vikings. Like Thielen wouldn't say anything, but his wife would constantly complain and complain and complain and complain. And it's like, that's Daniel Suarez's wife. It's like she's going in front of Netflix, finding like, where's the camera? They are not giving Daniel what he needs. It's like, shut up.
Well, and even Suarez, I mean, a few weeks ago, maybe the decision had been made by then, but at Texas, he was one of the drivers who's like, yeah, we need more speed. Like just as simple as that. The speed is lacking.
Everyone for like doesn't Chastain also talking about that too? Like,
yes, he did around the same time, but like Daniel also said, like you didn't hear SVG saying it, I guess. New guy on the block. He's not going to go out there and risk saying anything, risk hurting any relationships there. But, no, I just think Suarez, best equipment or not, he's not good enough, frankly, to justify holding onto that seat when you have a guy who could be as good as Larson one day waiting in the wings, ready to go.
Cup-wise, he's like, if you're looking at like the screen, like this is Kyle Larson, right? And this is Cody Ware. This is Daniel Suarez. He's roughly going to be in this range. And that's not a bad driver. He's a really good race car driver. To be a middle-of-the-line Cup guy means that racing just about any other stock car driver and similar equipment in the world, you're going to kick their ass.
He did in Mexico City.
Yeah.
In the Xfinity Series.
And that's the thing. I think Danny, like you can, if you want to like lead in on this one, because I think you and me are on the same wavelength of what we think probably should be going on with Suarez here if the stars align for it.
Yeah, I think we saw a little taste of it in Mexico City of him hopping in the 9 car and got the win. He has a championship in the Xfinity Series at this point, and if it is most understood, most likely Delicious going up to the Cup Series, why not just ride swap and have Suarez go, be a lifer in the Xfinity Series with a great team? At this point, I'm struggling to remember ages here. How old is Justin Allgaier?
He's got to be close to 40, right?
He's 39. He's 39 years old. So
Mhm.
he's, realistically not going to be in this series for much longer. Daniel Suarez.
He's 33, I think.
I'm acting like he's so much older.
He'll be 34 next year.
But still, there's a 6-year gap. That could be 6 more years where Suarez is eventually your number one veteran guy.
If that's the case, then yeah, he'd basically be I would say closer maybe to an Elliott Sadler would be probably a closer comp. But
True.
like the thing is that if he performs really well, puts his name out there, gets that, good grace and kind of the bad, taste out of this year, 2026 silly season is mounting up to be a lot more active, and you can push yourself in by taking that gap year more than maybe somebody else could this year.
And I'm
Good point.
just throwing that out there too. We saw JRM make the Daytona 500 this past year of Justin Allgaier. We could possibly see them once again want to run a Daytona 500. Maybe Allgaier, but maybe a Suarez. Maybe at some point, maybe not next year, maybe the year after, we might see 2 JRM cars show up to the Daytona 500, and Suarez and Allgaier could work together.
I don't know about. I'm not going to go too far ahead. I think the best options for Suarez here, yes, would be a top Xfinity seat, and that's if his sponsors are willing to make that move. That's the tough thing is sometimes sponsors are like, yeah, we will dedicate a $3 million budget to you this year on the condition that you're racing on Sundays. Sometimes they don't want to go to Xfinity, even if it's in a contending team. So hopefully, though, his sponsors, whoever he has tied to him, if it's, if Freeway Insurance is tied to him, if Coca-Cola, I don't think, is he still part of Coca-Cola? I don't know who else he may have. It'd be great if they support a Junior Motorsports or even a JGR run. I feel like JGR Xfinity seats just go to who brings money. And if that's Suarez, great. Be cool to see a reunion. The only Cup options I could even remotely fathom would be Colleague if they choose to go away from Ty Dillon for whatever reason. But I think Ty has done what was expected of him this year. The only other option, and this is kind of murky, is if Legacy Motor Club does get that 3rd charter for next season. I know Jimmy has mentioned Jesse Love. Other reports have mentioned Jesse Love could be a candidate for that seat. Maybe they deem Love needs another year, or maybe they don't love Love. And Suarez could be that guy because he would bring some sponsor support. And to your point, Jarrett, there are 36 full-time Cup Series drivers. I don't want to get in the business of trying to rank every individual driver against each other right now. Daniel is probably top 30, maybe even top 25, maybe even top 20. I don't know. He's not top 20, maybe top 25. He might be as high as like 24th, 25th out of 36. He's Cup worthy. He's just never going to elevate your team and get you into championship contention.
Yep.
So, but for a new entry at Legacy, needs some funding, needs a stable, marketable guy. Maybe Daniel Suarez could fit that description. But otherwise, I think Xfinity, sponsorship depending, would be the way to go. And I would love to see that because he is a big personality, can be fiery at times, like his wife in front of the cameras on Netflix. And I would love to see that contending for wins in Xfinity week in, week out. I think that would be a lot of fun.
And he would. I think he would, especially road courses, but just in general.
Yeah.
Like, because a mid-tier Cup guy, in my opinion, is a top-tier Xfinity guy. Look at Eric Almirola. Like, by no means it's Eric Almirola. Like, we're looking at Eric and be like, man, that dude is bound for the Hall. No, we were like, he had one pop-up year when SHR was damn near unstoppable, and he's been mid-pack his whole career. Comes down to the Xfinity Series, and the dude's a world beater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I'd be more than happy to see him get that kind of opportunity down there.
And some people are also, we just got a super chat here from West Virginia. Daniel to the 7. Haley ain't really working out over there.
I wonder if that's thing. We haven't really heard too much about it yet from that side. So like maybe whatever it's going to be a downgrade, I think, from what he has now.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I don't see him getting a better Cup ride.
No, they're just
unless
not
Legacy
available.
takes a leap and he does end up there. I mean, I guess maybe there's a chance, but
Been pretty damn good the second quarter of the year so far.
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah, true.
Oh, so should we have fun?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the mood for fun. Do you guys want to have fun?
Yeah, why not?
Let's have fun.
All right. Well, let's get this thing. Let's get our predictions. How about that? So
I got some good ones.
I don't want to do this.
Each host will make 2 NASCAR motorsports or show related predictions. Predictions are kept track of in our accountability session we're about to go into, and we'll try and keep them concise. For me, I said Ty Dillon would score a top 10 in 2025. Ty Dillon, the GOAT. He came through. I also said that the Atlanta summer race would be under 90% positive for the Iceberg poll. It was 92% positive. I also said RCR would lead 75% or more of the Atlanta Xfinity race. I'm pretty sure they only led like a lap.
I've told you that can come back to bite you about every time you do that.
Everyone keeps saying layup, layup, layup. I'm like, no, there are no layups when you're predicting that stuff unless it's Corey Heim before Phoenix. Danny said Ty Dillon would not score a top 10 in 2025. He did. Said Ryan Blaney would win the in-season challenge. He finished last. And said the Cup race at EchoPark Speedway would get over 3.5 million viewers. It did not even get half of that.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Dang.
And Eric said Austin Hill would not win the Xfinity race. Very right. But said Kyle Busch would get a top 10.
Oh, even with damage, he was close. Brutal.
So this year, I am leading now at 33.33333, and go on and make the edit for me. Danny at 30.23 and Eric at 26.53. Lots of threes. All time.
They should just edit that where it's all threes after every single one of those.
Yeah. All time, I'm leading 39.84%. Danny at 30.71 and Eric at 30.13.
Get me out of the basement.
Welcome back into the 30s. I think you were below it and all of it for a little bit.
Yes.
All right, so I'll lead us off here. Lane Riggs will win the truck title.
Wow, that's a big one. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna make it now in July. I think he's the only one that can compete head-to-head with Heim, and I think that the ones that are generally better at Phoenix than he was last year are probably not going to be better this year.
Good point. He doesn't have to deal with Majeski, most likely. It's early to say that, but
so now since you've went in on that one of us at some point, me or Eric, has a chance to think about saying the same for Heim. But I'm not going to right now. SVG will lead the most laps in both races this weekend.
I thought about making a very similar prediction. Instead, I'll do a Chicago one. I believe for the third consecutive year, rain tires or wet weather tires will be used in the Cup race this weekend.
So I believe it's the Grand Marshal this week is Northern Illinois, Chicago legend Derek Rose.
D Rose.
I grew up. I don't have many basketball jerseys. My dad gave me his Michael Jordan ones. The only one that is solely mine is a Derek Rose jersey. I was
Nice.
a Derek Rose diehard. I remember hearing about him when I was growing up in the local area, and you know how he was kicking ass in the high school scene. So we'll see him on screen. Might be waving the green flag. I can't remember which one it is. Derek Rose will be there, which is a big deal for Chicago. I think I was originally going to say a Chicago sports player. I think they will interview Derek Rose on the broadcast at some point. There will be a D Rose interview at some point. I don't know how they'll do it, or if they'll maybe have him in the booth at some point or something. But
could they get him and Michael together at some point, maybe?
That'd be amazing.
That would be amazing. I think your prediction had a much better chance of coming true, Jarrett, before TNT lost the NBA rights to ESPN and whoever else.
That's true.
But
yeah,
you still got a shot.
See, so obviously Michael Jordan, the GOAT, there's no beating him for Chicago, in my opinion, in general. But like Derek Rose, like if I lived around the Northern Illinois area, was around Chicago. Since I went into Chicago during the Derrick Rose run a bunch of times, and like if you wore a Derrick Rose jersey, like you're the most popular person on the block. Like I can't explain how important he was to the Chicago sports scene and Chicago fans and just the area, the state line area, like how important he was from like 2008 until he got hurt. Like he is beloved in this city.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Number 2 for me. I'm going to copy one from Eric for last week and say Kyle Busch will get a top 10 this weekend. He has an average finish of 7.0 at the street course.
Okay. I'm going to do this. I teased this one earlier.
Did I lag out?
No, you're good. You're just ventriloquisting right now on my end.
He might. Oh, no, I think he's there.
Yeah, you guys were kind of in slow motion. Am I
boy.
here or not?
Okay. I'm
Now
going
you
to.
are.
I think he's on like a delay, Jarrett.
Yeah.
I'm so
We're
far
like
behind.
we're looking at like past Danny right now. The Danny we see in front of us is like 10 seconds.
It's like the stars you see in the sky. That light was actually made when the dinosaurs were in the sky and when Danny was on time with us.
Danny is 10 live streams away from us.
How many fingers am I holding right now?
5.
4, including your without including your thumb.
Okay, there's still a little delay here.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
anyway.
All right. Well, my final prediction.
I'm going to refresh and just see if that helps.
Okay, we'll see you in a moment, Danny. My final prediction, I teased this earlier, but I'm going to make it. Fresh off upsetting the number 1 seed in the tournament, Ty Dillon is going to beat Brad Keselowski head-to-head this week.
Oh my God. Yeah, I kind of hope it happens. I kind of hope it happens.
I feel like he's got to do. I mean, I don't know that either. I mean, I know Brad's not a great road racer. I don't know what Ty Dillon's road course numbers look like, but anything can happen. Anything can happen.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to keep track of all of those ones this weekend on. And I think Danny's rejoined the living. He's a little grainy, but he's good.
Right,
Danny,
good.
are you with us?
Yes. Are you hearing me 5 seconds later?
Nope. We're good. All right. You're just in time for the other fun segment we have. Put the chat away. It is
Just in time to leave.
It is time for Random Driver of the Week.
Week.
All time, Danny is up 24-23 on Eric. So we are in a tightly contested race. And last week was very controversial. I saw a lot of people, I think a lot of people that came in that are fans of Michael that are saying we need to change things because Michael knew who it was, but Danny got it first. We're not changing it. Whoever says the name first, got to blurt it in, cutthroat. Danny Ballbuster talks.
Can't give me a hint like that.
Nope. It was a rookie mistake, and I guarantee he'll never make it again. But in saying that, Danny has 2 in a row with Angela Ruck and last week's Bobby Dale Earnhardt. Eric has Christian Fittipaldi 3 weeks ago, and then the end of my reign was Hut Strickland and Chase Briscoe. I think I got that one wrong. I think I wrote that one. I think Eric.
Eric definitely got that
because he got him off of the weight part of it. So Eric has Briscoe and Fittipaldi, and then I had Hut Strickland. All right, are you ready? I see where the chat is going nuts already on this.
Have they gotten it yet?
Wild, they did.
Not collectively.
Wow.
What does that mean?
Wow.
No, I mean, some people might. I don't know.
It's a hint.
Okay, that's big. Okay, so this must be a name brand.
Just saying. Well, I mean,
Joey No Name over here.
Oh, I was about to say, look at the people they're guessing. I'm like, well, no, I can't.
Yeah, let me look at it.
The chat.
Who the hell is Dre Dollar? Hey, they're bringing the Kale Gale back, even though we already did that one. All right. This random driver began racing at 5 years old.
A lot of drivers these days do, yes.
Yep. All right. This random driver quit racing at one point
They were
for being
trashed.
bored.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
They were bored.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This random driver also now nowadays owns a car dealership in North Carolina.
That does not exactly narrow it down.
Yeah, a lot of drivers own car dealerships.
Yeah.
This random driver is a current member of the Clinton Foundation, owned by Bill and Hillary Clinton. Make of that what you will.
Politics.
Cars.
This random driver once competed as a cross-country runner.
It's a hint.
This random driver ran in Chevys, Pontiacs, Dodges, Fords, and Cadillacs during their racing career.
Okay, a little old school.
They didn't go into Toyotas.
Nope.
But they own a Toyota dealership. That's the plot. No, I'm just kidding.
This random driver started their NASCAR career in the Xfinity Series for Hugh Connery Racing.
Hugh Connery. Do you know who Hugh Connery is? Me either.
That sounds like a actor. Maybe I'm thinking
This
of Sean
random
Connery.
driver's first NASCAR sponsor was Outback Steakhouse.
Oh,
That's it. That's recognizable. That was their first Cup NASCAR sponsor. Wow.
NASCAR sponsor.
Yes.
not Cup.
Okay. Yeah. First NASCAR sponsor. Okay.
This random driver has run in the Rolex 24.
so maybe they got some road course experience.
This random driver graduated to the Cup Series after only 3 wins over 2 seasons, finishing 4th and 11th in Xfinity Series points.
So they had promise.
Yeah. This must have been a hyped up prospect.
Overall, this random driver has 5 career Xfinity wins. Just watching the chat.
Have they gotten it? Have they narrowed it down?
Yeah, they got it.
Oh, good job, chat.
A lot of them do, at least. This random driver at one point, due to harassment, had to vacate permanently one of their houses.
Well, that's not good.
I'm like skipping around just because I want to get the best of the best here.
Do you think we're gonna get it then? You think we're close?
Possibly.
We'll see. We'll see. This random driver has 1 IROC win.
Well, this guy's legit.
IROC win. Wow.
Is that where the Pontiac era comes in?
Maybe. We'll see.
An
There's some others.
an IROC win, and you said they had 5 wins in the Xfinity Series before they were promoted to Cup.
Correct.
You didn't say where this driver's from, did you?
Yeah, wait.
Not yet.
Oh, that's something big.
You want the numbers?
Sure.
Yes.
In this random driver's motorsports career, they ran these numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 24, 45, 67, and 88.
I stopped writing after like 11. What was after 11?
12,
Oh,
24, 45, 67, and 88.
That's a very unique set of numbers.
oh man.
The podcast hosts have tweeted about this random driver this many times. I have tweeted about this driver 8 times. Danny, 26. Eric, 44.
We are super fans. Oh my gosh.
So okay.
Any guesses?
I think I know it, but I want to hear one more clue.
Okay.
Because you worked hard on these clues.
This random driver's Wikipedia and racing reference have their home states in different places.
Oh,
You're really trying to hide where this driver is from, because I think that's
No,
a
I'm
dead
serious.
giveaway. I really know you won't just tell us. You won't just tell us where they're from, because I feel like
It could be multiple places. We don't know.
Is it Jeff Gordon?
Is it Jeff Gordon?
What is Jeff? Ooh,
Yeah.
Jeff Gordon.
No, you're right. You're the 88. Yeah.
The numbers thing to explain that he ran 1 through I believe 12 in IROC.
And I forgot
others.
about his debut in the wasn't his debut in the Outback car?
Outback, and
was
then
it
he
the
had
number
the
one,
baby.
or what was the number
I
on
think
the
that
Outback
I think
car?
that was like 45 or 60. I can't remember the exact ones, but yes,
Yeah.
that was Jeff Gordon.
Wow.
There were some other good ones I had.
That was clever. That was a good way to hide him.
Yeah, wait a minute. But after a while, I'm like, Jeff Gordon, like he said California, 5 years old, has a dealership in North Carolina.
Something
like,
about 24 and 88 kept standing out to me.
Yeah.
So the Wikipedia and the racing references do have him being from different states, one California, one Indiana. Some of the other things, he was actually scouted for Formula One racing by Jackie Stewart. But due to sponsorship, same with IndyCar, couldn't make it in, so had to go to NASCAR as like a third option. Currently is tied for the all-time consecutive lead lap finish streak in Cup.
I didn't know that. That's a good fun fact. Wait, he's tied? So who's he tied with? Did you write that down?
Careful. I ain't telling you guys shit yet.
What, is that a clue for next week?
Maybe.
You'll have to find out next week on NWP, where I will not be able to.
He's gatekeeping information. He's gatekeeping knowledge from the public.
And then a lot of the other ones were sponsorship, or not sponsorship, statistic ones, stuff like that. Like one of them was he raced against Richard Petty and Ryan Blaney, which is a crazy long amount of time to think about. But
yeah, I guess he ran one race against Petty, technically, right?
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I mean, one of our first ones was Jimmy, and that was so much easier to get from you guys because you guys hadn't understood the game fully yet. Yeah. Now you guys have, and that one was like the one that I was like, okay, I need to get one that's gonna make them confused right off the bat is the Clinton Foundation one, just because I'm like that one they're gonna be like, what the hell?
I had no clue about that.
Yeah, I looked it up because there's all these different organizations he donates to, and I was like,
but the Clinton Foundation isn't necessarily political. It's some other stuff that they do.
But yeah,
he's the boss man of Hendrick Motorsports. He's got to play both sides, play the political game, gotta schmooze everyone.
But yeah,
he knows what he's doing.
Jeff Gordon. So fittingly, Eric now ties it up at 24.
Oh, that's a hint.
Oh gosh, I think I even like jokingly said like that's a hint at 24 over here.
The funny part is like I'll say hints for drivers I plan to do weeks in advance, and just like people can go back and be like, oh my God, he was literally saying who the next ones was or anything like that. So but yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun before we head on into Chicago.
Nice.
Doll Bears.
And you might have a heart attack. I had my 6-pack of heart attacks.
And the Cubbies got another win.
Go Cubs, go.
All right, that's fun.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna
let's
try.
Why? It's a great accent
that I can't do.
Because you'll have a heart attack doing it that way.
Come on, I'm from Tennessee and I can somewhat get it. You can do it.
I can try it off camera.
I'll take it for now.
He won't give the people what we want.
My dad's from Illinois, not Chicago. He's from Illinois.
It's in your blood then. Go ahead.
To me, I didn't inherit that part.
Just let her rip, Tater Chip.
What? that didn't sound very Midwestern at all.
I'm not Midwestern. I'm Tennessee.
That's what I thought we were still doing it.
Let her rip, Tater Chip. That still sounds redneck.
Let's just go to Chicago. How about that?
Yeah, no, you can. You literally can right now.
I actually could. I'm 90 minutes away.
Some weekend notes for this weekend. 41 Cup entries, including the number 13 of Will Brown and Colleague Racing. Austin Hill will be in the 33 for Richard Childress Racing. Josh Balicki will be in the 66. Corey Heim in the 67. Catherine Legg will be in the 78. Out of all of those, I'm not liking Legg's chances to make the race.
Well, the 66 isn't always a very good car either, but Balicki's a good road racer. It'll probably be the 66 or 78, though, that goes home.
Watch we say all this about Corey Heim, and then, like, they have an oil leak during qualifying, and they spin out.
I mean, that is all it would take.
Probably. Other notables in the Xfinity Series, SVG will be in the 9 car for Junior Motorsports this weekend. The Cup race is the Grant Park 165. It is a 75-lap race broken up into 20 laps in Stage 1, 25 laps in Stage 2, 30 laps in Stage 3. It's scheduled to start at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch the race on TNT and HBO Max. You can also listen to it on MRN and Sirius XM. As far as weather this weekend, we're looking at a high of 83 degrees, scattered thunderstorms, 65% chance of rain. So we'll have to see how we do on lightning and whether or not we can get this in. The defending winner of this race, been waiting a while to say this, Alex Bowman is the defending winner of this race. The Xfinity Series race is the Loop 110. It's a 50-lap race, 15 laps in Stage 1 and 2, 20 laps in Stage number 3. Start time for this one, it's 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch this race on the CW or listen to it on MRN and Sirius XM. Weather for this weekend's Xfinity Series race is better. You can definitely probably plan to watch this one. High of 94 degrees, mostly sunny, 3% chance of rain. The defending winner of this race is Shane Van Gisbergen.
Hot on Saturday, 90s in Chicago. Whew, summer is here.
Indeed. And you know what else is here? Eric is here. He's the points leader.
Woo!
For pick points. Jarrett is second, 2 points back. We've all narrowed this gap a lot here recently. I am third, 12 points back, and the chat is fourth, 16-point basement boy right now.
Oof.
You guys used the draft to catch up.
They had the slingshot effect engaged for the last couple weeks.
So,
time to lock in.
Chat, who is going to win the Xfinity Series race? I think we already know who they're going to go with, but it's going to go by very fast.
I'm just going to write it in right now because I know exactly who they're going with.
Yeah.
Wow. They're taking SVG.
Why did I even write him down?
And I hope you guys didn't want Zilish because I'm taking him.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. Not shocked at all.
It's either going to be a WeatherTech Red Bull car or a Red Bull WeatherTech car.
I'm going to go with a red wheeling car if they're racing it this weekend. I'll go Jesse Love.
Damn it. Seriously? I really felt good. I'm like, all right, at least I'll get Love. Like, no way Jarrett's going to be thinking like that. Okay, dang it.
I got to lock in, man. Like you and I have pissed away a damn good lead that we had over the field.
I'm taking a kind of a boring pick, but he's pretty good I'll go Allgaier. I think that's the second or third week in a row I've picked Allgaier because it's like.
And I realized, totally forgot, but yeah, these were our Xfinity picks. Whoopee! Yeah, totally forgot.
Now,
yeah, I have Allgaier.
Florida Cup race. Who will suck this weekend, chat?
I think we can give ours while they give theirs if you want.
Sure.
Yeah. My suck pick is Denny Hamlin. He's not been good at this track since it's come.
I'll take my layup of the episode here, Noah Gragson.
That's also fair. I'll throw one a little outside of the box. At the beginning of this year, Josh Berry was looking
Chat's
really
Brad,
good.
By the way.
Fair enough. Josh Berry looked really good to start this year. A couple of top fives, obviously got that win. He has one top 10 finish in 13 races. It doesn't strike me as a great road racer either, so I'll just throw that out there.
And now, underdog, cup race underdog. Chat, who do you think is going to be the underdog? I'll go ahead and get mine out of the way. The best average finish at this track since this began, Ty Gibbs.
I'm going to go somebody who had a top 10 finish in the last road course race, and I like the direction of this team, John Hunter Nemechek.
Both very good underdog picks. I feel like it's lame to say just like Hocevar, but I just feel like he's going to bring something this weekend. But I'll also throw out McDowell as someone who I think more realistically could surprise us and win. Oh, chat seems to agree with McDowell.
Yeah, I think they're going with him as their underdog.
Fun. All right.
All righty.
So with that being said, who is going to win the Cup Series race on the streets of Chicago?
Chicago.
Chicago.
So should I even bother? Wait, I mean, I know who they're gonna go. Yeah,
Yeah, it looks
there
like
they go.
chat is betting on a clean New Zealand sweep.
Yep, kind of figured it was gonna go that way.
Yep. I don't even know why I wrote down SVG.
So who else did you write down?
It's a hint.
Uh-oh. No way.
Oh my God, you're gonna do it again?
They can take him as their underdog all they want. He's got a pretty darn good average finish here, so I'll take Michael McDowell in this one.
Wow.
Yeah, Danny, he does, but the numbers don't lie. Ty Gibbs has a better one. I'm going Ty Gibbs. I'll take it. I will go out on the limb. I argue that he was the only one that could take on SVG in Mexico.
Eric is having a spasm over here.
Wow. I was not expecting the 5th and 6th guy. I don't even know why I wrote down 6 names, but the 5th and 6th guys are off my board, which means I get my number 2 pick. How does the saying go? Fool me once, shame on you.
Shame on you. Yes.
Fool me twice, shame on me. I will not be fooled twice.
You're
Tyler
saying
Reddick is going to get back on track and run well, win at a road course. Almost won COTA in the spring. They admittedly missed it at Mexico City. They've been to Chicago before. He was running down Bowman in the closing laps last year. Tyler Reddick is my pick.
I'm not going to lie. I can see why you say that, but I think this is going to be your biggest airball of the year.
Ooh. I don't think so.
Yeah, we willing to put a nice friendly wager, like a $5 wager. I'll be here as witness. Between you?
No.
Reddick versus McDowell.
On Reddick being a whiff.
We literally just went on a tangent earlier of why we don't touch DraftKings anymore.
We're not on DraftKings. We're on NWP Kings.
No.
We even have a crown over the NWP logo when the pick logo comes up.
I'm literally wearing a hat with a Christian radio station. I'm not gonna condone this right now.
I'm feeling good. I'm glad. I can't believe.
Okay. Actually, I like this idea from Blue Jimmy 48 fan. I've been watching Claudia and I've been watching Ryan Trahan's 50 State Series. The loser of this, that's 5 from each of us, can donate $10 to Ryan Trahan's 50 State St. Jude Series. That sounds
good to me.
I like
fair.
that. All right,
I'm down.
We in agreement. We do a virtual handshake.
Shake.
Yep. The whoever. If what is our
whoever the highest finisher is? How about that?
Oh,
Of our 3 picks.
but between
you want me to add in? I'm good. Whoever
you sure?
I'll add in too. Whoever the highest finisher is, we was $10 to the.
Wait, whoever the highest finisher donates, or
the bottom finishers donate.
How about bottom? Yeah, bottom finisher.
Bottom finisher will do a collective $15 from the 3 of us.
I like it.
So that's $5 from each of us. Either way, we're going to be donating $15 to the St. Jude's charity to Ryan Trahan. It's nowhere near the amount of donations they've been getting. It's absolutely a crazy series. Go check it out. They've been getting tons of $5,000 donations. If I had the means to do that, I would do that. But
that's very cool.
I don't have that on me.
That's very, very cool. Maybe Tyler Reddick, when he wins, can donate his winnings.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Good idea, Blue Jimmy. Appreciate that.
Cool.
Almost fell back in my chair. All right.
If it happens while if I'm the loser and I'm in Jamaica, I might have to wait till I come back, but I'll do it.
What's the conversion? Do they use American currency down in Jamaica?
Oh crap! I hit the mic again. Just go to the super chats.
All right, yeah, let's get into it here. We ended with Steven Gibson, so we're picking up a Napa Racing fan 927. I appreciate $2 from you. TNT, we quietly, no drama.
Yeah. Crank it up.
Bailey Reichert, appreciate a $9.99 from you. Suarez should go to JRM and take the 88 or 9. I don't want to see him go to Colleague or Ware Racing, being only competitive at super speedways and road courses, doing exactly what he's doing right now. Yeah, I think at least Jarrett and I were on the consensus that we want him to go to JRM. Yeah. SW, appreciate $1.99. Eat my Cinedust. That was a good car.
That was good.
Glad to see it. Blake Feeman, appreciate the $1.99 from you. Best Jam. What about Monster Jam? Go Max D. Maximum Destruction is a great monster truck if you're going to watch Monster Jam.
That's a good name for a monster truck.
Justin Drake, appreciate the $9.99. 99% of the time, Chase, the car was good. We need to work harder. I'm Bill's son. The 1% of time, Chase, all right, Lucius, time to let the cougar loose, and just grabs another gear.
I'm here for it.
I love that.
Yep. Cavs fan 45, appreciate the $4.99 from you. Seeing Chase show emotion was so cool. Him celebrating the crowd was awesome. Also, do any other drivers have sirens or anything for when they win? Ross smashes a watermelon.
Pumpkin.
He does that in October.
I mean, yeah, there's those signature celebrations, but I don't know of any other driver where like the whole town gets involved. I know when Chris Buescher wins, Prosper doesn't go crazy up the road or anything, but if they did, that'd be awesome. I'll let y'all know.
They should, as much as we now know that they're a town of only 30,000. Acting like that's small. Gavin Wagner, appreciate the $5 from you. Rest in peace, Brad's playoff chances.
He still got a couple more chances.
Not totally out of it.
Atlanta was a good shot, gone bad.
So you're saying there's a chance. Beast of Metal, 1989, appreciate $20 from you. TNT wasn't Fox. It's really hard to be a burning car battery poisoning its surroundings with nitric acid fumes. But their camera work was way too Fox-like. And why did the booth leave all their energy at Prime? TNT equals dead battery. And I also thought it was interesting. The booth, as soon as they switched to TNT, had suits where they did have polos at Prime.
Oh, that's an interesting observation. I'm gonna look for that this weekend.
I'm gonna bet money that Prime Dale Jr. had more control based on what they've talked about, and TNT had more control here.
Probably. Indy Carson, 2025. Appreciate the $4.99 from you. Justin Allgaier is awesome. Cup, Larson sucks. Xfinity, Zillish sucks. Truck, Heim sucks. Maybe screw Cup Racing on TV in 2026 of all these three idiots. Wow.
That is intense.
Dang, Indy Carson.
Indy Carson always be bringing just like fire in the comments. Like it'll be like, oh, I had a really good time. Also, I hope everyone dies.
I appreciate
it. Whoa.
I appreciate the enthusiasm.
David Bell, appreciate you chiming in with your 9-month membership. Said, hope you guys are doing great. I also see a little bit later, it says David Bell member new. Is this a second David Bell account becoming a member, or I'm kind of confused how that works?
Maybe he had to renew midstream. I don't know.
But the first one said member of 9 months. So I'm kind of confused how that works. Anyways, thank you, though, David. Always good to see you. Gavin Wagner, appreciate the $5. If Cinnamon Toast Chris would have stayed up front, Bad Brad would have won with the half-off car, which is fitting because the field was cut in half. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Robbie Ride, appreciate the $9.99 from you. Do you guys believe there's a path for Prime to take over more races in the coming years? Don't think this is a hot take, but don't think there's a better platform for NASCAR, at least right now. Not at this time.
I will say there is talk of, that there's a lot of tension in Warner Brothers Discovery right now for ownership, selling off different stuff, things like that. So maybe the other question I ask is like, how does that work? Maybe at the NBC side, do they pick maybe back up the Brickyard if that were to happen? It's all stuff that would probably be a 2027, 8, 9 problem than a 26, 25. But at the same time, like I said, I think we talked about before, like Comcast has sold off USA Network. So technically they don't own where the channels that NASCAR races are on now for those, at least as of some time. The short answer is not anytime soon.
It's funny you mentioned USA. I saw someone in the live chat earlier said that Castaway was literally just airing on USA Network.
Oh, that's funny.
Which is crazy. Figured I'd mention that.
You're talking about tensions in TV networks. There's a lot of tensions in a certain TV network I know about that NOA has a relationship to me. I won't talk about in the show, but I'll for sure tell these two after we get done. I can't talk about this on our show.
Okay.
Blake Feeman, appreciate the $1.99 from you. Also, I like your K-Love hat. Who's your favorite artist? As far as K-Love Christian music goes, I mean, it's hard to beat Brandon Lake. His stuff is always good, always very inspirational, and just it sounds like good music, let alone from it being Christian music. But also, he was part of Elevation Worship and their Praise song. If you haven't heard that one, for it to be Christian music, it's a banger. Honestly, it really is. So those are two of my favorites as far as Christian music goes. Bailey Reichert, appreciate the $4.99 from you. Eric, when are you gonna do your yearly preseason reaction videos you do? I love seeing you react to your good and bad predictions.
I will for sure right when the playoffs begin, I will do a look back at my preseason playoff picks. I'll save that probably for whenever that is, August, I guess, late August. What else did I do this year? I actually have a video coming out this week. We're halfway through the season, 18 out of 36 races. So I'm going to do sort of a full field rundown and just my thoughts on how everyone's running so far this year. I know Jarrett did like a traditional letter grade video earlier this week. I don't think I'm going to do that exactly, but I am still going to kind of do my mid-season check-in on everybody. So I'll talk a little bit about some of my preseason predictions in that video too.
I'm curious how more or less on specific drivers strict you'll be on the grading process. Because I know a lot of people criticize me for a few of my
There's
D's
one
and F's.
You gave a D to somebody. What did you give
Haley?
Maybe it was Haley. Well, what did you give SVG?
Overall in the season, I gave him I think a D or D plus.
That's what it was. I was like, his job was to win a road course and make the playoffs. He did that. I would have given him a B, maybe a B minus. I was surprised. That's one that surprised
the rest of the way. That's the thing is it's all the lens of how you grade it.
Yeah, but I grade it based off expectations. And I expected him to kind of be cheeks at most of the ovals, and he has been. But he won the road course. That one surprised me. But we'll see where we differ.
What's your Ty Dillon grade now that he's got a top 10?
Oh God, I actually have all the grades here. I can actually look them up. I'm trying to guess what did I give each guy again? Oh wait, I have it on me. I gave him a C.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
because he's doing what they expected him to do.
Yeah, I gave SVG a D plus.
Yeah, I thought that was a little harsh.
I gave Kyle Busch a D minus.
That's fair, honestly.
Yeah.
Calypso, I appreciate your $1.99. Hello, boys. The B is back in Chicago.
Oh no.
Jam plays games. Appreciate the $4.99. Some people say that if you search for the word beauty in a dictionary, you'll find a picture of Chris Buescher's purple Cinedesk car next to it.
Yeah.
Indy Carson 2025. Appreciate the $4.99 from you. Hey, NWP. Have a great Independence Day weekend. I was at Road America IndyCar race. NASCAR comeback. I will be at Final Chicago Street Cup race.
Well, have fun.
Have fun for sure.
Yeah, it would be cool. I hope Road America makes it back, maybe not every year, but I hope they've if they ever run into an issue where, Montreal, we want Montreal. Oh, it fell through at the last minute. Maybe they can strike a deal with Road America from time to time.
From kind of what I heard is Road America was pissed that NASCAR took their date away because they're we brought you over 100,000 people each year. I think we've proven we should be on here. And they're well, we'll give you Xfinity. And they basically are yeah, we want Cup or bust at this point.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But the ratings were also bad. That's why I'm I don't know if it could be an every year thing, but from time to time, I would love to see it. I would love to go back.
I would want it. And I know the viewership wouldn't be great with it this way, just a double whammy. I think the only way it would resonate with those at home is if Prime covered it. Because I think they could capture the energy of the track. The energy of the track was insane both years. I loved it. But TV did not capture that at all. NBC failed terribly at that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the crowd up on the hillsides were all hiding in the shade usually because it was so hot, at least the first year.
God.
Also thinking of Independence Day weekend. So we're leaving for our mission trip on literally July 4th morning. Which means I will be in Jamaica for 4th of July. and it's going to be weird. It's 4th of July, and I'm not hearing any fireworks. If I'm hearing fireworks in Jamaica, I'm actually very shocked.
You'd be playing the game that we played in Rockford growing up, gunshots or fireworks.
Yeah,
Maybe Jamaica throws a crazy party for 4th of July. You never know.
I doubt it.
Danny's
just
going to be
just
in
like how America goes crazy for Cinco de Mayo, even though apparently that's like not.
And
correct
St.
me if I'm wrong, that's-
Patrick's Day.
Yeah, that's not like a huge celebration in Mexico, but in America, we like to pretend that it is and make a big deal.
Yeah, I doubt I'm going to be saying that.
No, they have a rave instead.
We'll see. Report back, Danny.
Justin Drake, appreciate the $49.99 from you. Very generous. You always are very generous to us, Justin. Really appreciate you stopping by and your support to the show. Grandpa, are you proud of me? I finished 14th. Joe Gibbs. That is atrocious, Ty. The weekly top 25 cars got wrecked out except Elliott, Bowman, Busher, and Reddick. And you still couldn't manage a top 5 or top 10 running with the weekly back markers.
I'm just imagining Michael reading it.
Not to sound like a Ty Gibbs homer, I was actually watching Dylan fenced him towards the end of the race, like just absolutely slapped the wall.
He wanted to be the best driver named Ty that week.
Yeah, it was a little tie on tie violence there.
You could say he was a tie fighter.
Oh, that was actually kind of clever. Well,
Yeah.
T4R2OUL. Interesting name. Appreciate the $4.99 from you. There's 41 Cup entries for Chicago this weekend. Any early predictions for who misses the show? I'll say Austin Hill for shock value. We talked about that a little bit. I'm going Catherine Legg.
yeah. It'll probably be Balicki or Leg. I actually think Balicki will be a little faster, but there's a good chance his car just explodes in the transporter. So
Yeah, that's true.
I think I'll agree and go Balicki. That's tough. I hope
Rowdy-
Balicki makes it because he's from Wisconsin, I think. So that's like close to a home race for him.
Rowdy8 Diecast, appreciate the $1.99 from you. Limerock is fun in person. It's a shame that Fox can't show that.
It's tough when Corey Heim has an 8-second lead, to be fair. But
Jason Carney, appreciate the $5. Bowman has a shot at the road courses. That he does. He won Chicago last year.
puncher's chance.
Dumas RLC, appreciate the $5 from you. I have Max through Disney, Hulu, and Max bundle. The race was locked out for me, guessing others as well. Ended up using my dad's login for TNT.
Interesting.
Why
do sports have to be so hard to watch in the year 2025? It's not
Greed.
just NASCAR. It's so many other sports too.
I know.
Greed.
Was the race probably like blacked out in Atlanta markets, being that's on an Atlanta-based network, like in Atlanta?
It wouldn't surprise me if they pulled some funny, antiquated BS like that.
Beast of Metal 1989, appreciate the $5 from you. I remember virtually no promotion of NASCAR during the Stanley Cup Finals, which Turner had this year. I also remember Turner not pushing the NHL at all.
Laziness.
Cheap.
Bailey Riker, appreciate the $4.99 from you. True fact, if you take Heim's 14 stage wins away of 140 points, he'd still be first in points, up 6 on Chandler Smith.
He's got like a 2 to 3 race lead.
That's crazy.
Why do we need a playoffs in the Truck Series?
And to further on that comment, 505 Doom, appreciate the $3. My unpopular opinion, bring back bushwhacking. That would prevent Corey Heim's dominance.
I am so sick of this take. Everyone keeps saying it now, and it's like, if we learn nothing from history.
Nope.
We got a good balance.
Yeah.
East Virginia, appreciate $1.99. We talked about this a little bit. Daniel Suarez to the 7. Haley ain't really working out. Possibility.
Maybe.
Possibility.
I think it's a hair too early to give up on Haley. But yeah, Suarez I don't think would be like a downgrade. I don't know that he'd be a huge upgrade though either.
Sorry, getting a little yawn in here. Sorry about that.
It's late. I understand. Another one, nearly 3-hour show. Look at us.
Yep. Do it every week now, guys. Eric Elston, appreciate the $5 Australian, but that's not what he's calling them. Here are $2 dues. Fun fact, both Will Power and Will Brown are from the city I live in. I also went to a neighboring high school to Will Brown. Well, first of all, Eric, hello. It's probably not late over there where you're at. Actually, hey Siri, what time is it in Sydney, Australia?
In Sydney, Australia, it's 12:44 p.m.
You just did. A bunch of people watching this just had their Series or Alexas or whatever go off.
Yep. Everyone with iPhone is now going off. And hi, Eric. It's he's watching us on his lunch break, basically over there.
Nice. I keep hitting this damn mic.
Let's all smack off a little bit.
Oh gosh.
Blake Feeman, appreciate the $1.99 from you. Love Brandon Lake playing Praise at my wedding. Oh, that's a good one. That's cool. Everyone's gonna be praising the Lord at the wedding. West Virginia, appreciate it. $19.99 from you.
That
Fun
too.
fact for Danny. What?
You stopped and go.
You lagged slightly. Your singing bit was cool because it kind of sounded like auto-tune for a moment.
Oh, that's nice. West
Roger.
Virginia, appreciate the $19.99 from you. Fun fact for Danny, but Bowman's P11 at Pocono was Bowman's first finish between 11th to 25th. Quite literally top 10 or records. Hopefully those 2 months of hell was all his bad luck and it's smooth racing from here. Could be. It was a rough stretch there. Everyone was putting Hocevar in his car.
Yeah, he's had a couple good weeks in a row. Hopefully Chicago continues that.
And the final super chat of the evening, unless something changes, the Roman numeral 3, I, appreciate the $5 from you yet again. Road America is perfect for the 4th. If it is on TNT, it will have crap ratings either way. Let the people come to the track in the hundreds of thousands. That's a good take.
I do like Road America on America's birthday. I think that's cool. That should be easy to market. So, yeah.
I'm right there with you.
We all like Road America here. I don't think any of us on this show are like gung-ho, give me Road America every day, all day, every year, but we all like it. I think we'd all love to see it return at some point.
I thought you said we all don't like Road America. I was very concerned for a second.
I believe we all like Road America. I want to go back and get some deliciously golden fried cheese curds. It's not like such a stereotype. Like, yeah, Wisconsin's only known for cheese. To be fair, last time I was in Wisconsin, I went to a place called the Cheese Castle or the Cheese Land, whatever it was. It literally was called like Cheese World, and the whole place was just cheese. It was like a Buc-ee's, but for cheese.
I know this might be a hot take for Jarrett, but there are these schedules that show like what team your NFL team's going to be playing in the next few years, and I think at some point there might be a game coming up in the next few years where Titans might play at the Packers, and I kind of like to go to that just because that's such an iconic venue of sports in general.
Have fun. Real quick, just to show you. I'm gonna share my screen to just show you guys one other thing that Wisconsin is very well known for,
other than Matt Kenseth
and cheese.
Scott Wemmer.
You see it?
I see.
Oh,
it's the drunkest state in the union.
I'm shocked that Montana was that high, honestly, but maybe I'm not.
As we love to say on this show, hang the banner.
Do you know what's crazy though? They close all the liquor stores like at 8:00 in Wisconsin.
Hey,
for their own safety.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. But thing is, they just go right over the state line here where I'm at, and there's a liquor store that's open till 3 a.m. And it's like right on the border. See, that's the funny thing. Illinois, Wisconsin in a nutshell here. On the Illinois side, they're lined with liquor stores. So all the drunk Wisconsinites can come and they can get their booze past, sunset starting. And then on Wisconsin side, there's a bunch of fireworks shops where all of us from Illinois are just yearning for freedom.
Well, speaking of freedom, have a good 4th of July, everybody.
Yes.
Thanks
Don't
for
blow your
coming
hand.
by to NWP. Yes, be careful of fireworks, have fun, and have fun at Eric's channel. I was going to say see you, but no, you won't. All right, that's all for now. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Started off right, pal.
Right on, come on. Get outside. 3 wide, 3 wide.
Unbelievable.
Green flag, we're going. I like the aggressive. We probably dropped the green car. You can go tall, this guy's up there, they can suck it.
What we're about to do is not a good idea.
All good. What is he doing? You gotta be kidding me.
Half the pack is flying apart.
It's so nice to see you the one.
Oh, pack of cars come piling in as well.
Jump. Coming the way. Hello. Come back on him.
That was